abomination, this violation of your testament, this trespass on the contract that you made with your bride. And you told us not to do many things to do and many things not to do. And one of them that is very important under this covenant is not to celebrate. So this is a good day to bear witness and go out and take up your cross, because remember in Jeremiah it said, learn not their ways, their customs, their equinox, their peace, ritual, the known now as the modern day swastika, where the seventh king of Revelation, the one that's locked in the pit, inverted the symbology, and we were given a warning of things that we see. Things of the dirt, idolatry, loving the dirt, and things that are made of dirt. So he doesn't want us to love, he wants us to love the word. So we're supposed to bear witness, take up our cross, in those two thieves that'll steal right there hanging in front of your face, that'll steal your crown. So this is an opportune time. It's in the air. It's flying everywhere. Do you celebrate? We're not supposed to celebrate, because then we can do what the whole world is doing right now. That's why he made Father Easter required celebration. People are still doing these traditions of the past that were blotted out and were told not to do. So they have perverted. There's no such thing as Easter. It doesn't say Easter in Scripture. It says Passover, and that he would kill your firstborn if you didn't pay the 5 shekels to the king and have your sacrifice. Like Isaac was to be taken and sacrificed at the altar. You had to have sacrifice of blood, remember, and post the head of your doorway marked in that blood. Their headdress, your address, like over your doorway, like the serpent, the halo, the head, yeah, your head, the head of your doorway, like head of household. Who's your serpent, right? Who's your dragon? Most people are forked. They do. They celebrate the ritual of the serpent, Leviathan, in the garden. Remember Noah, his sons. Remember Ham, Shem, and Japheth. The Torah, the law. Remember Nimrod. Who was Nimrod? That's Moloch. He had a son called Tammuz. The Catholics do their weeping of Tammuz. That is Satan. This is where your pedophilia comes from. Yeah. She had sex with her son. Ishtar, star worship, worshiping of the stars, like we're told not to do in Jeremiah. Oh, but Pastor, you're always talking about the celestial firmament gospel. That's not, we don't worship the stars, right? We love the word. We go after the word. We don't go after gods in the sky. There's no gods in the sky. There's never been any. There's no gods in the sky. Deities, they thought there were little g. Those are flesh gods, like Yahweh and all these, people are sensational. They like to make up fairy tales like Easter, silly rabbit, tricks of her kids. No, rabbit is a sign of fertility or sex. Remember when Satan, who was Nimrod, her son, when he died, that is Mass A, Christ's Mass, Jesus Christ, the one you call Jesus Christ, when he died, she had sex with her son. This is known as the rebirth. We're not celebrating birth. That's a celebration of phallic worship of the spring, like spring, ding, oh, Nimrod, you got your blood pumping. Wrong kind of rod. That's, remember, Semiramis or Ishtar or Ashtaroth, she cut up Nimrod's body and scattered it, like the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered, all except for his phallic. That's the monument, Washington, in front of the Vatican, same dicks, or well, same phallic, same worship of phallic worship. they mirror each other. So they're in the hados, in the same narrow way, but in their own sick way. So that's what you're celebrating, is the rebirth, the standing up. That's that tree worship. That's called grove worship. So Baal in the grove. Baal is sun worship, worshiping of the sun. Baal, like Jezebel. Like, does that ring a bell? Most people are Satanists. They worship Baal, the god of three genders in one God. That's Satan, Nimrod, Beelzebub, Baal worship is sun, worshiping of the equinox, of the spring. That is the svasta, or the symbol of peace. Been around for thousands of years, long before World War II. So that's not what people get offended by. That it doesn't mean what people, they thought there was a goddess of heaven spinning the Big Dipper, right? That the goddess of heaven was the north, or what is known as the pole star, the North Star, was there. It was a goddess of heaven, and they prayed to stars, Ishtar. That's where your pedophilia comes from. Her son, remember, this is who Mr. Warp Speed worships. It's right in front of everybody's face right now. Pedophilia is not something, pedophiles, all these pretendant, the selected one we have in, the one that we know he likes to grape children, go bang, bang, gorilla on them. I don't mean to go there, but that's what he does. He's sick. But this stems from Nimrod. That's why he decorates his house with Nimrod. Statues of all the deities. Remember like Artemis, they just did their Artemis is Nimrod's brother, twin Artemis. They just sent a rocket to the moon again, right? Went around it. Yeah, right. Here we go again. Star worship, lunar worship, moon worship. That's sex, fertility. Well, this is what they do. This comes from this since the beginning of time. Remember, nothing new under the sun. Rome, all this. It's this same worshiping of Kronos. Eat your kids. They would sacrifice their kids for better harvests. Spring, for better spring, better crops, better. That's paganism. But don't eat your kids. Don't have sex with kids. Don't touch kids. That's the Quran was written by Catholics. Catholicism, the deadly head wound. Satanism. Catholicism is Satanism. Satan's the adversary. They do their cross, the weeping of Tammuz. There it is, right there. The weeping of Tammuz. This is what you're celebrating. Sex, fertility, lunar worship, spring, equinox, birth, spring. Celebrate for harvest. This is called Samhain. There's 8 pagan holidays they celebrate on the Yule wheel. Sun worship and tree worship. Baal in the grove. Grove is tree. Nimrod. Remember, when you rebirth and you stand up, that phallic, it's like rebirthing the Nimrod. Satan's phallic. This is Ishtar, worshiping star goddesses, like the Muslim crescent moon flag with the star next to the crescent. The Muslims, kitty touch much, like Catholics. That's where it comes from. So this is what they're doing today. This is about Passover. It doesn't say, it says Easter only one time, and that's a translation. That's not the literal word that was written. It was Passover. And Passover, again, remember, if you didn't have your doorway, your headdress, the head of your doorway, your address, your post marked with the blood of the lamb, and pay the 5 shekels to the king, firstborn would be stricken, taken from you, blotted out, no birthday next year, kind of deal. He was pretty serious. So why doesn't anybody talk about that? Oh, they don't want to talk about Passover. They don't want to talk about that, right? No. And we're not under that, remember? He paid in blood. He's the one who is at the head of our doorway. He becomes the high priest of this house. Body's the temple, correct? Like the 2 temples you have on the side of your head. So we need to make sure that we bear witness. Everybody you know is doing this. They have an Easter spring sunrise service at the Catholicism Satanist church. Spring, sunrise, that's worshiping Baal, worshiping in the rising of the sun and his son. Yeah, we were just talking about you, Lion. Seriously, wonder where you've been for a country minute. You've been coming up in conversation. So good to see you back. Hope you've been busy. I know you're a very busy guy. So, guys, this is the time right here. This is the time where you go out and as your family is celebrating this, you know, they're a Satan. Depart from them. They're a Jezebel. Bel, Beelzebub. That's Nimrod. Remember? The sun, Tammuz, the weeping of Tammuz, Catholicism. Versus there's no excuses for this anymore. You go out and bear witness and you're going to be separated. You go tell your family today that you don't do this anymore. And if you did, you depart from them. You don't sup with vipers. If your dad or your mom are a viper, depart from them. I don't care who it is. You have to. Don't keep company. Don't invite them in your house. Don't break bread. So this is the opportune time. Come out of my people. Exactly, Ryan. If you're not sharing, there's all these holidays that they celebrate, their little sugar daddy rituals, baking hot cross-top buns to the sex goddess Semiramis. That's what they're celebrating today, brothers and sisters. This is why Father sent his son, because we always pervert. Remember, forward Hebrew, we twist and change God's laws. We're not under this old Torah Testament. We're not bound by celebration. Remember the end gatherings, even on Sunday. The Sabbath was Saturday, not Sunday. That's stupid. People, you have to be just completely out of your mind. Yeah, everybody's nice and just, you whipty-whoopty-doo, right? Hey, I haven't seen you since last Easter sunrise service there. And they call themselves Christians and they're religious and they believe in God and they're going to go to heaven in the sky when they die. They've already been severed. Remember, their head's already been kind of cut off. Remember the temple? So that's right. So they still, remember at end gatherings, they still gave edification and studied on Sunday, brothers and sisters. Go back and do your studies. They still did on Sunday, but you had to have everything prepared on Friday. So we know 100% the Sabbath, but we don't keep the Sabbath day, right? Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy because we take our cross up daily under this covenant. We don't do, Sabbath is we every day. Sabbath, remember? Every day, if we're going to do a Sabbath, we don't keep this. Did you light a fire today? Did you smoke a bowl connection? Well, you broke the Sabbath. You're not supposed to light a fire. I don't care if you use a magnifying glass in the sun. You broke the Sabbath. So you can't smoke on Sunday. No. You used a vaporizer. That's an electronic device. You still broke the Sabbath. Nobody keeps the Sabbath, brothers and sisters. Nobody keeps the Sabbath. Literally, you couldn't do anything. It had everything prepared on Friday. Sit on your fourth point of contact. Your ass is somebody you can't learn, right? And, sit there and not do anything. Give all edification, raise up, lift all glory on Saturday, Saturnalia. So watch out because they like to twist everything. Remember? Forward. So Saturnalia, brothers and sisters. Ishtar, worshiping all this same of this wheel worship is this same spring goddess of they were having all this wheel from Samhain that we went through all the way at 923 to the 323 ritual. All of it was for better harvest in the spring. Harvest. Father, remember, is the one who gets the first fruits. He condemns. We don't condemn anybody. We can pluck, remember, one bad apple, a little leaven, take it away. Your eye, if it caused you to commit idolatry, if you covet another man's wife, that is adultery. Or, your hand was to cause you to commit murder. Would you cut it off? Would you pluck your eye out? Would you cut your hand off right now? So Father knows what he's doing. Remember that. He did this on purpose. He makes all these people Satanists because he doesn't love them. It's difficult when you're the only one in your family who doesn't do these things. And that's why you're in prison. And your family hates you and your friends hate you and they separate you and at work because you don't bring the little spring little cookies or whatever. And you're telling them it's an orgy. Or Easter's a pedophilia celebration. It is. The one who had sex with her son. So that's what you're celebrating. Silly rabbit. Tricks for kids. Wrong kind of tricks. You don't play tricks, tricks like a prostitute does tricks, turns tricks, silly rabbit, or for kids. No, they're not. Bring a whole new meaning to that, doesn't it? You little silly little cereal, or the only, no other animal stays on that, drinks milk or not. So if you drink milk, stop drinking milk. You do whatever the hell you want because you're not under this covenant of the dietary laws. But think about it. What other species drinks milk? They use that teat, the original colostrum, all that in the first day. But come on, guys. And then pour it on your little, they're not even shaped like freaking fruit anymore. They're just balls because they love worshiping balls, remember? So apologize. I'm not sorry at all. But I do apologize for my outburst, Apologies. Well, there you go, right? It does, right? Because you know that most people are already there. Father doesn't love everybody. He only loves his bride. Most people go to hell because most people are evil or they're nice, and nice means to be stupid. Yeah. Yeah. We did. If you guys aren't subscribed to Stoner Connection and you like herbs, obviously I went through your content a little bit more. Their connection, you were definitely the like that you're taking the 420 out of there. 420 was the birth of the seventh king. It was the birth of the seventh king. No, we talked a lot, but then we went and talked about scripture. We talked about the everything that's going on, preparedness. It was an outstanding stream. Thank you. It was, Ryan. I appreciate you spending a ton of time there with us, hanging out. So go subscribe to Connection if you're not. If you're not into medicinals, he still is a good connection for, the gospel. So loves to share it here. So we're trying to help his channel out a little bit. So we talked a little bit. If you've been thinking about starting a channel, this would be a good time. If you need an extra residual income stream, this would be the time. Take this inner web net and turn it on its head. Be as esteemed as the potter's clay and turn their works upside down. And that's what we talked about, pushing this AI system right now. It's like getting in on Apple computers, before, they came out with Apple. And, like I said to Scott last night, oh no, I'm already invested in, peaches, in Georgia, or, maybe apples in Washington, right? No, wrong kind of apple, you silly. Some of these things are groundbreaking if you get in at the right time. Timing is everything. You can, but you got to understand and overstand these things. To most people know they're going to let the train pass them by and get in at the, the shoulders and in the head when they should have bought at the ankles and the knees, right? Not when they get in when things are popular. When everybody wants it is when the price has already gone up and it's overinflated at that pot, overbought, right? And it's about the crash. So sometimes you want to get in on these things early. So we talked about using the AI against itself and him helping his channel get off the ground. So look, Stoner Connection may be producing some kind of content using the AI. I'm not sure if he's going to put his face. We talked about that. You don't have to. So you don't have to put your face out there. Don't do that if you don't want to, but you can definitely put content out using the AI. And as we talked about, it's going to cherry pick, honey pick. It knows the sweet spot. It's like the G spot. Oh, my bad. Well, I apologize for that outburst, but hey, whatever. If the shoe fits, wear it. Cinderella. I'm saying that's how it works. You use what works. So it knows everything that everybody knows. And that's what you want to take advantage of that. So we'll have that discussion here right now because it is a good discussion. You can start an AI channel, brothers sisters, where you just you let the AI do it for you. You know what I'm saying? You let it do it for you. You let it pick that sweet spot. It knows that it knows your, you know, it knows yours and everything else. That's why you kept swiping your card at the, or whatever, and you get tracked to the Walmart and everything that you buy and sell and trade. It's all, part of the system, the hive mind, the Oculus, sees what everybody sees. So it doesn't. It's just a math problem, but you have to use these things and turn them on their head. So go see Economic Ninja. He started another channel called Economic News Ninja, kind of rebirthing the channel, not like that, but he's an excellent source for just glean everything he says. If you're not subscribed to Economic Ninja, please go subscribe to that channel as well. And he's a great source for economic news. Okay. He doesn't give economic advice like I don't give economic advice here. He just talks about cycles and tells you what he's doing with his millions of dollars. So he's one of these guys that doesn't have to do a YouTube channel, but he does anyways. And he produces a crap load of content. So, but now he's figured out another way to produce even more content. Big Butter Jesus. Uh-oh, what's Big Butter? I never had a Mo Better butter. Is that some fake margarine, Jesus? Whatever, wrong oil. Never like Crisco. I'm not sure what you're putting in your cake, patty cake, strawberry shortcake, baker's man. So, polychurch. Yeah, it's the spring goddess Ishtar. Fring, it's in the air. So, people love it. Share, glean. I will. I'll check it out. So, yeah, the Fruity Pebble Jesus. A little breasty Jesus. So, but anyways, no, two ways. Broad is the way that leads to the wide gate that leads to hell. Got struck by lightning. Okay, cool. Yeah, all their deities and idols, they do. They get struck often. Many of these towers and things, the same, like I said, same deities, rebirth again, like the king. If you don't follow Tyler Hansen, you might want to go follow that channel on Facebook. I don't think everything he does is on point, but some things you can't deny. 100%. Just like an overlay. It's kind of like, have you ever done any content, it's how they can take and create all these different kinds of graphic images where they can overlay, like an image and put it on the side of your car now. You can have your face on the side of your car on an image, Yeah, nice. Good. The idolism, we were warned about idols and imagery, dirt, loving things, the little statues made of dirt or big old tall 58-story towers in Manhattan or Babylon, 66 penthouse floor statues of, decorated all motif, the whole get up, we're supposed to go after the words. So when these people build these, um, memoirs of these deities, I think what's absolutely funny is they knock them down again and again throughout record, and then you look like Mr. Warp Speed. He's building an Arch of Triumph, was the entrance to Nimrod's Babylonian 58-story tower. Remember? Arch of Triumph, they were moving it around this rock, put in front of all these different phallics. Well, what do they call them? Monoliths. They were knocking them down as well. What an amazing time to be a witness, brothers, sisters. That's why there's no excuses for celebrating anything. If you have a family member or a friend that celebrates, now you finally have truly met a Satanist. They might not be all dressed up in leather like, maybe, whatever, neoprene or spandex or whatever you think you're leotarded, whips and chains and all the easy to old When I was younger, what people thought evil was out, was now it masks as light, and it copies a copycat. It'll come knocking at your door with fishnet stockings and high heels and red lipstick. Are you going to let the devil in? Remember, mirrors, all the same mirrors performed, and all the miracles, same wonders, walks, well, maybe on water, how many U.S. soldiers are sitting in Kuwait right now, rotating. Gosh, come on, cylindrical productions. My right, it doesn't work. So, rotating. Are you rotating at warp speed? So, no warp speed here. We don't do warp speed. So, I'm a veteran, so I don't even want to go into all that, but we're getting kicked, or we're getting stomped in Iran, brothers, sisters, and we're definitely getting crushed in the meme war. Donald Warp Speed's little tweets or whatever he puts out, I do nothing with these Lego dead. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to make up a word on the fly here. Legendary out of Legos, these memes using the system. See, there's your AI system using the system. That's how they're turning the system upside down. Lego's creating fricassee. Legacy. There we go. All right, I got it. Thank you. All right, but either whether you post on Twitter or you post somewhere on social media, we're losing the war. Remember, Billary said we were losing the media war way back then. Remember, with alternative media channels like Truth Viral Television, Dabu 7, Dutch Sense, some of these original OGs. Casey from Enter the Stars. Some of us have been doing this for 10, 11, 12, going on 13 years now, been putting out this content. So some of these things, there's not new news, right? Nothing new under the sun, northeast, west, and south. So I don't know, these people think they're spinning on a ball. So you got to be careful who you sup with. So, but now it's the Gulf America. So, no, it's crazy though, Andrew, like I said, but hear me out, it's crazy. The Lego wars, they just started with this meme. That's what I'm talking about, brothers, sisters. We're getting crushed. They're shooting our pilots right out of they're shooting our airplane. F-35, they look at what they just did in Israel, brothers, sisters. They took out basically their whole threat to the Middle East. That's why they had air superiority. They're dominating. Okay, so then I apologize. Let's do Afghan war. We never should have involved in 20-year, the longest war ever. Joe Biden's pull-out game sucks, but Bush left crap behind too, so I don't want to hear it. Stay out of the bushes. All these people are tyrants. Remember Shock and Awe? I'm Desert Storm, Desert Shield. That's when I don't want to, like I said, I don't even want to go there. We're flipping tyrants. We should not even be, we police the flipping world, guys. We shouldn't be out our border. We could have a National Guard and a Coast Guard, but under this covenant, remember the original writers of the Constitution nor foreign entanglements. I violated the constitutional right of the people. I did. We're not to be outside our borders. Repugnant is what it says. This is a fascist, Marxist corporation. Used to be a constitutional republic because I'm a constitutionalist, not a sovereign citizen. Remember, I'm not religious. I'm not Christian. I hate this country. I despise what has happened to a nation that I defended the right, not freedom. I wipe my ass with flags. You guys know that. I'm not one of these pride is a sin. I didn't defend, right? People who don't want to assert their rights. They get jackboot thug lickers is what they are. The boot on the neck of nations, 1,000+ military. But we got an army right here, the standing state deputies, police, county that our founding fathers warned us of. But you don't want to pay attention to what's going on. It don't matter to you. This is a corporation. We're not a country. We are a business. They sell the bond, and they send, and they're just sent how many? 82nd Airborne, 101st. There's probably 50,000 troops sitting in Kuwait right now, but nobody wants to talk about it. It'll be a shock when they come home in coffins, huh? FEMA liners or what? Yeah. So, like I said, this is how I get my PTSD out, by talking about it. I don't hold it in. 22 veterans every day take some kind of quick exit, because you don't know what happens outside the borders of America. You get the shock and awe propaganda on television, Northeast, West, and South, like you're spinning on a ball. ABC, Paramount Pictures presents, Universal Studios. That's what you're getting. You're getting Operation Mockingbird. They can change these things. Remember, they are allowed to do this for national security, but you don't listen to any of these things. Operation High Jump, Warp Speed, Operation Warp Speed. So what Trump is doing is, if anybody would look at it, he's taking out any Chinas. He's strangling the dragon. I'm not paying attention to what he's doing. Not you, connection, but most people are. Everything he's doing. Iran is about China. Cuba, what do you think that's coming next? What do you think? All these, he's strangling all of remember, our competitors. It's genius. Satan's, right? Wise. He's not Satan. He's not the Antichrist. His house is decorated with the Antichrist. Remember his twin brother, Artemis? They just had a rocket ritual. So, right. So that's what I'm saying. There's even talk about oil replenishing itself, brothers, sisters, and not through this compression, bones don't turn to oil nonsense. Like Bob said, must have been hella stegosaurus. We ain't run out of oil yet. But moving, yeah, that's hard. You know what I'm saying, Scooter, for some of us to hold that, to hold. But look, guys, it says come out of her people. I joined the Army's delayed entry program, okay, at 17. Obviously, I was a grown-ass man, but, my service to know that I'd give my life for the cause, and not, the flesh is worth sacrificing for the. I don't have that mentality anymore. He said, don't sup with vipers. Come out of her. Do not partake. I was young in spirit. Although I had a service to gird and other, for others, anybody's willing to, like a firefighter, run into a building and give their life is like a soldier to give their, I didn't defend flags or countries or colors or people who don't want to assert their rights. I asserted the right of the people who assert their rights. That's it. Not freedom is not. It comes with a price. Soldiers every day take their life, brothers and sisters, so you can sit in the luxury of the lap of your living room and watch what you think is going to be the end of the world on your big, 150-inch at Costco now television, eating freaking ding-dongs and ho-hos and zebra or whatever, Snowball, whatever sugar, Puff Daddy, whatever you're puffing on or smoking on or eating, or I don't know what you're sticking in your body. It's not what goes in us that defiles, it's what comes out of us. So we need to speak up. The only thing it takes for evil to flourish is for, remember Psalms, David's writing, for good men to stand around and shut up. Assert their Miranda rights. Remain silent. The right of Miranda, remember your Fifth Amendment, you need to assert your first. I'm not condoning violence. I'm not calling for a revolution. That's like putting, depleted uranium rounds in a revolver and then popping shots. And next thing you know, you're going around in a circle like a hamster on a wheel. And you're getting nowhere fast, because war does not decide who's right. It decides who's left. And that's what they want. War is a profitable venture for Palantir, Boeing, all these. Halliburton, okay, during Scooter would know about Halliburton. Man, I didn't mean to say that. I don't want to bring that up. I shouldn't have said that. Because we used to go rebuild countries, okay? Now we just blow them up and leave them in shambles. You know what, Kuwait? They never did find any weapons of mass distraction in Iraq. You were distracted. So, Raytheon, Palantir, Boeing, all these. Thank you, 1991, 91st. This is an abomination, brothers, sisters. It's against this new covenant. I don't know any other pastor that ministers this new covenant that tells, maybe it gives some relief for soldiers like myself that know that, hey, Paul was a murderer. Remember, Paul killed Christians for the church for a living. He was a Pharisee. You couldn't be, I mean, that's tax collecting. Father hated, through Shiloh, but he was rebuked. He said, come out of my people. We can to learn from our mistakes. It's something that it's, like I said, it's hard for people when you get told one kind of propaganda on television and you go show up, and a tour to guard a poppy farmer and guard this area. And the next thing you know, they're telling you to take out the same area that you were, wait a minute, it's a conflict. Just shut up and do your job, soldier. Your property, you fall in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. You get paid to take a poop. Shut up, move out and draw fire. We'll talk about it in the rear. Nobody ever talks about it. So a lot of these things never get dealt with. And what you see on television is not, I don't mean to go there. That's it. So hang in there, Scooter, because it's not. Father does know things without purpose, cause. He tests us, not tempts us. He tests us, especially when we do it young. Deco, the decamai, put your hands up, the whole no surrender. No, you got to fight until the end. He said you must endure to the end if you want to be healed. So we got to keep our skin in the game. We can't be one of these suckers that say, hey, or just shut up about it and just step out that way. Because you might as well. I'm not saying take your life, but just to shut up about it doesn't do it yourself or anybody else any good. We need to speak up about the 1,000 military bases in all continents, countries. There ain't nowhere we don't have some kind of embassy. Well, look at what they just destroyed over there, Iran. Look at what they just destroyed. All the work that was done over there with those military bases were those 13 that Iran just decimated like Mr. Warpseed. They're not. Iran is kicking our our tail right now. So everything is not in vain. Remember, some of us were young and dumb and, remember Delta Echo Papa, that was my, I'm going to go do this 18 and out the door, right? On to basic and advanced and, Fort McClellan. And you're young. You put your head down and you move out and you draw fire. You don't think about that. You're not thinking straight. Your mind is looking at, I got to serve a bigger cause. I need to, and, I remember my dad telling me if I ever joined the military, you know what I'm saying, that he would kill me. You know what I'm saying? He said he'd beat my, you know what I'm saying? He'd beat my, and I did it anyways because I was like that. I was stubborn, but I knew that cause, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, brothers. I hate it with everything because I still carry that yoke, that burden, that weight, but it's shaped. It's like being formed from the ground up. A true soldier is always going to be a soldier. I met soldiers and served right next to side by side soldiers that weren't soldiers. They were ate up. That's a term in the military. They're just not soldier material. What's going on there, DSW? Good for coming in. Yeah, we'll go back to our subject. So the celebration of Ishtar, Semiramis. Guys, this is what all this stuff was over there in the desert. If you pay attention, Gaza were the Philistines, the champions, right? They were the giants, the Anunnaki, not gods in the sky. This is that same subject where you can bring this up with your family members and take up your cross because this opportunity is flying around everywhere. Not like, bullets zinging over your head. It's abundant. And to get out there right now and use and be a soldier of God and put up the armor, put on that word and go out there and take pop shots. It doesn't matter. You're going to take flak. That's an army thing. Well, excuse me. That's an Air Force thing. They'd fly over hostile territory without radar. And how did you know where your enemy was? Well, if you're not taking flak, then you're not over the target. So that's when you start dropping your truth bombs on people, right? And they don't like that. Today's that day. Go tell everybody in your family that they're a serpent and a viper and call the tea kettle black. It's not a color. There's no black's in a color, white's not a color. So you're not being a racist. You know what's being a racist is saying that people have color. We're melanated, not colors. We're not blue, white, black, brown, red, and yellow, all that represented all flesh, what the Hamashiach was speaking of, right? Hold your breath long enough and you'll turn blue, but Smurfette or whatever, Papa Smurf, your avatar. No, look, we're one race, brother, sister, the human race, and we got to be here with this evil. So you're supposed to speak up about it. Remember Psalms, David's writing, the only thing it takes for it to flourish for good to men stand around and do nothing. Don't do that. Assert your First Amendment right to remain silent is fifth. First, redress grievances. That's all you're doing. You're not calling for a revolution. It's evolutionary when you figure out a way around the system. You could beat the system by, remember, I told you, create some AI videos and let the system cherry pick, hand pick the sweet spot, the 5G whiz spot, whatever spot hits the spot, it knows the sweet spot and start, doing something, speaking up. You can let the AI speak for you. You don't even have to show your face, but you're doing something. You're not just sitting there like with a bump on a log, like stuck on dumb, like freedom. There's no freedom. There's no free will. Freedom's long gone. Free will is a man-made term, right? Doesn't define. It's not by definition. It's idolatry, and Father hates that. So don't do what you want. Be a soldier. Go out and use this beautiful opportunity that you have right now to bear witness. And then you're going to take fire, and they're going to hate you. The algorithm is a dancer. Use it. It knows what you want. You've been swiping your card, and so everybody else. It's the hive mind. It's the oculus. It sees what we all see. The all-seeing eye. Get it? Why do you think I put that on that crown? Just like that. Make sure we're doing, so. Man. I'm getting skin cancer, guys. Just bear witness, Jason, and leave him alone. Twice is all you have to do. You can't turn. That means rebuke. Father rebukes with the word, a goat into a sheep. Greatest of all time, high priest, maga. Remember? They do their scissor ritual, whatever, their orgy. Easter is an orgy ritual. It's a PDF celebration of pedophilia. It is. Tammuz is the son of Satan. She had sex with her son. Catholics do the weeping of Tammuz. Nimrod's son. Get it, Nimrod? Got your blood pumping? So. You can't turn anybody. Remember, sheep, vessels of mercy, called out at the supper, the wedding, feast of the lambs, the wedding supper. They're already chosen. You're not going to change anybody. You're not. 2 times, bear witness and move on. He said that. He said, love thy neighbor like thy enemy, like thyself. So you're not changing anybody. You're not turning goats into sheep. Vessels of wrath fitted for destruction from the foundation of the world. I also did foreknow who I did predestine. I pulled him from the darkness to my horizo, right? No, to my light. Through the light, I am the separator. Father is pure, without blemish, without darkness, holy, pure. Ruach is the Hebrew word, meaning holy, right? Paul told us the inner man that can't sin, he is without blemish, like he wants to find our garments white, washed clean in the blood of the Lamb, without blemish when he returns. Maranatha, he said, correct? Loins girded, that means action word, right? Legs on faith. Faith is a noun, but you have to put legs on faith. Belief is not a head thought, it's a verb. You have to put legs on faith. So you've got to get up and do these things, brothers, sisters. How are people going to know if we don't go tell them? That's why we are chosen as the disciples. The disciples go bear witness. They can't get it. Yeah, just look at my hand. I just keep getting these. All of a sudden, I'm getting these spots on my hand. I notice them, so I gotta go get it looked at. I don't know what it is. Maybe I could change it with diet. I don't really eat it too much sugar, very little. Drink a little bit of iced coffee. That's about my, it's like a candy bar in a jug or whatever. But I stay away from that. So I'm not sure what it is. I grew up a lot in the sun too. Like I went out yesterday, guys. I didn't want to go out and work, but man, I got sunburned yesterday. That sun has cooked you. I wasn't even out there that long. A couple few hours. So yeah, that's what I should do. Put maybe put some topical on it. Should try some cannabis oil. I make salves and have before in the past. Hemp Shield and some of these other hemp pop, different ones that I made that probably would help it. I never thought about that. So, man, I'm telling you, you could take, as silly as it sounds, I know that my son's mom, thanks for coming in, Sabrina, she would take the bottom of her stem, like the stem on her water pipe, her bong, that real oily, right? Oily, because she had all kinds of little bumps and spots and little skin tags and all kinds. And she would take the bottom of a like that. When you clean out that portion of your thing, that real runny, right there, right? She'd take that and put that on a Band-Aid and cover it with a Band-Aid, and she could make spots disappear. She'd go to her doctor because she had things, and she'd take that right there, that goop right there, and put that on a spot and then cover it with a Band-Aid and it would go away. She's done it over and over again. I should do it. And she didn't do anything fancy. She took that. I'm telling you, that right there. You know what that is when you clean that out. It's real, so kind of like almost like a Rick Simpson kind of a, well, I don't mean, but okay. Anyways, hold on. We're going to take a pause for the cause. Oh, the back's killing me today too. Oh man. Whew, that third vertebrae, guys. Woo! This one is not like the last two times I did this. I can deal with it because I've done it before, but man, it just comes on so strong sometimes. All right. Pause for the cause. I'm not going anywhere today. I'm working at the farm, so we'll use a little medication. Okay, well, there you go. Reclaim. That's what it's called. Thank you. Yeah. Chooch it if you got it. So, thank you, Father, for good herbs. For me, I don't like, guys, narcotics. It's in my thing. I just don't. It doesn't. My body doesn't agree. I have a massive spat of side effects, not allergies. I thought that I was having allergic reactions when I was forced, in past to take it. And they're like, no, that's just a side effect. I'm like, dude, this feels worse than the pain that I'm feeling. And the pain is pretty high, 8, 9, 10, sometimes 11. Hit a 13 before, I have, man. I don't know if you ever hit a 13 on a pain scale, but I've had it, man. It's sciatica is a. You ever feel like your balls are getting crushed in a vice while somebody's sticking hot poking pieces of rebar under your feet, and then, well, I won't go there. It's sciatica it's an animal, guys. It's hard, sometimes so hard it'll cripple you, man, just take you down. But that's what I use it for. I use it for medicine, brothers, sisters. I don't try to over medicate, or it doesn't work. If you overdo anything, you're going to grow up an immunity to it, brothers, sisters. Don't tell me the first time you took a puff off a couple cigarettes, it didn't spin your head in circles. First time you put a little bit of dip in your mouth or chew, you were like, woo, right? So anything is going to build up a tolerance. You know what I'm saying? So they want to do surgery, and I can't, guys. I can't afford it. You know what I'm saying? I can't afford surgery. I went in and had blood work, and they're sending me all kinds of stuff because, remember, my body started shutting down because I stopped eating all sugars altogether. I wasn't eating fruit. I quit eating any kind of sugar, pasta, no bread, nothing. I wasn't eating it, not at all. And my system shut down. I'm glad I got looked at. I introduced a little bit of bread back into my diet, and it my body fixed itself. Diet's everything. So so I can't, I can't at this point in time have surgery. Maybe after I get this ministry up and going, I get the septic in here, I get the well in here, I get the power in here, I put a ramp in here, I get to where I can lay down, because they want to do quite a bit of surgery to me. It's not back plus 10 years ago, they wanted to do a double because there's just too much stretching and too much. It's, that sciatica, they hit the wrong spot back there. You are paraplegic for life. You will not walk, brother, sister. You're not able to operate a wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, what I have, it's what I do. I started buying fruit juice more, like I said, Langers, and introducing. I won't eat fruit from the store. It's garbage. It's sprayed with bugs. It's grown in fluoridated water, chloridated water. It's 3D printed. They're all the same size. I know fruit. That damn fruit looks like grandma's fruit that used to be on the table. She had those resin grapes and the little fruit things in the basket. They all look the same, waxy colored, looking shiny. That's with the fruit that you eat at the store. I'm not eating that stuff. I know when I eat it, it makes me feel like garbage. So I listen to my body. I do. That's why I don't drink milk. My body tells me, no, don't drink that. Too much. I don't know if it's pus or blood or what, if it's the homogenization or we're not supposed to drink milk anyways. Remember, we're not even really supposed to eat cheese. So I don't mean to go there, guys, if it works for you, but it doesn't work for me. I can't do the fruit. I try. It just messes me up. And I won't eat things like oranges have seeds. Why the hell are we eating oranges without seeds? Watermelons without seeds? That's genetically modified. Every orange I ever had grow up had a seed in it. If it doesn't have seed, it is genetically modified, brothers and sisters. In nature, it's going to have seeds. Don't listen to that crap. Telling you, all this changing has happened through time, and you're just not paying attention. Remember, if you can't read it, don't eat it. We used to flip the label around, and used to get in bread. You used to have 3 ingredients, and it would get moldy after 3 or 4 or 5 days. Now that bread will sit on the counter for a month, but then look at the novel on the back of it. You got a QR code now. If there's more than 2 genetically modified ingredients in it. So it's getting to where it's food flavored poison. The goyim slop. You got to grow your own food. So I don't mean to go off on this tangent, but I can't get access to good fruit. Not anywhere. I don't have any. I don't care which chain of store or whatever. So I apologize if it doesn't affect you. It does. Yes, there we go. I would rather be in Europe. Look at Europe's bread label. Even look at over in Europe, the candy labels over there. And I'm not advocating for eating sugar, but look at the difference in like the dye. You know how much food is banned in other countries, brothers, sisters? Like they won't even take our corn in many, a lot. It literally, they ban our food in like 30 plus countries. Nice connection. Exactly. If I can drag myself and poop on a toilet, I'm still going to go. There we go. Don't like pooping myself. It says sciatica to take you down, guys, and just all your body. Oh my gosh. So, but either way, I've got my sugar under control. But that test cost me so much, now they're trying to bill me for the stupid appointment that, the PTSD nonsense appointment, just all these extra things. So, yep, there we go. 91st. Thank you for your testimony. I've looked into it. They won't even, it's like Russia, guys. The food in Russia is so good, so excellent. Russians have excellent food. They won't allow that crap in their country. Go look at Russia's food. You would feel so good if you ate food from a Russian grocery store. Actually, get away from just Americans. Go to any Asian store. Start buying from Asian stores, that type of, get away from all these, big box stores. They're just feeding you box flavored, can flavored, bag flavored poison, the goyim slop. They got labels for some of the people in there if you know the right labels to pick, but you got to know the right symbols. Kosher foods type. I don't know. Is it kosher? So Oh man, sorry that you're having an infection. I'm not sorry. I apologize. So remember that, guys. You are what you eat. You're not under the covenant of dietary laws, but your body is a temple. Remember what you put in your body. You put in crap, it's going to output crap. You eat sugary things, that's like draining the battery. It makes you acidic. That's why they got sugar at every aisle at the hardware store. You go get a 2x4, they're pounding you with those whatchamacallits, or 100 grand, right? At the checkout. Seriously, go get a spark plug at the parts store. There you go. More candy, more of that. Every aisle that you walk out at the grocery, it's all right there in your face. It's all staged right there when you're like, oh, in that most vulnerable moment, oh, grab one of those, right? Oh, those are my favorite when you're waiting in line with everybody and you don't have any patience. So they do all this marketing on purpose. It's directed right towards your sugar daddy. So there you go. It works so good, guys. I watch people because I don't eat it, and so many people fall for it. You know what I'm saying? It's half the day they spill something just to get that last little something. They get a handful of something, reach over and to grab the candy bar and lose 2 or 3 things. But they always, you know, Mars bars. Do they even have those anymore? Is that even a candy bar? Do they have Mars bars still? I don't know if that's a thing. I apologize, but okay. Anyways, let's move forward in this, guys. This is one of those holidays, though. This is the time where they got the thingamajigger. So, um, in the Americas, guys, the food is horrible. The celebration of all these sugar holidays, it's rampant in this country. I mean, they go out and during the All Hallows Eve and get whole literal. I used to, maybe it's because where I grew up. Sometimes a second pillowcase full of candy, pillowcases full of candy, pillowcases, candy for months on end, candy that sometimes turns, So it's crazy that it'll last you till the next holiday, sugar ritual. Ishtar, spring goddess, April Fools, stop eating this crap, guys. You know, um, garbage. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. I mean, I grew up obviously in Los Angeles, California, so there was trick or treating as far as the miles can see. But and we could go a long way there. So especially on if it was like not the best, if it was just a little people where I grew up in California, LA, where it's sunny all year, first city to bust the feel of gear. It's the sunshine, 365 days of sunshine most of the time through the smog or the fog. Well, not the fog, but the smog. But man, if the weather wasn't the best and people wouldn't go out, you could just, I mean, people would just dump their whole freaking, no, hardly anybody's been by. They want to shut their lights off. It's a city. Boom, you'll get the whole jar. You come back. So, uh, exactly. Well, candy is a drug. Sugar's a drug. It makes you acidic. It brings your pH down. It's a poison. Theory. I don't want to cut into big sugar. You forget about that, huh? Sugar beets, cane, not just sugar, but beet sugar, too. Even worse, guys. Even worse. Beet sugar is disgusting. And that's a lot of it is beet. It's not cane. It's um, but it brings your pH down. It's like draining a battery. It's like draining the charge in your battery. pH is acidic, like a charge in your battery. So that's what it does to you. So carbs do that. They turn right to sugars. That's why I quit eating pasta and bread. Bread's the same thing. Turns into carbohydrates. They turn into sugar. Pasta turns into carb. And no, they always use that. Thank you so much for that testimony, Ryan, because they always use the same flippin' excuse. Yeah, let's teach our kids that some big fat dude's coming down the chimney, bearing fortunes and giving fortunes, distributing fortunes, right? And you're going to get some cookies out for him, some milk, that you're going to eat those too, right? But we'll double down, be a double demon. But we're going to take the lie to our kids. They're going to eventually find out that we're that fat guy. No, we don't have a chimney, so he squeezed under the door, or through the keyhole. Kind of hocus pocus nonsense. Same thing. It's all this deception. April Fools, you know. So they always use the same thing. Thank you, Sabrina, too. It just grinds your gears like freaking on Family Guy, huh? I don't mean to go there. It just came to my head. So, grind your gears. Get out of here. We don't do, it's an abomination for a man to lie with another man. You're not to do that. It's an abomination for a man to put on woman's clothing. Get away from me. You're an abomination. Father created one race, the human race. Get out of here. I don't take racist either. Don't be racist. And remember, Obama, the little bit piss out of you, Barry. So, how about the Caesar Borgia? Your white Jesus. So, yeah, there you go. He just flipped the bird. Thank you, Ryan. Once again, no testimony, nothing to back it with scripture. You can't show him anything like the swastika symbol because then he get offended by that, right? Show him, well, this is what you're celebrating. You're celebrating the Yule wheel, right? The Christmas wreath and the star in the sun. The sun, they put the star over the top of the Christmas tree, the light over the top of the tree, Nimrod. That's remember the alignment, the cross. Christmas tree. Good for you, brothers, sisters. That's how you do this. Today is one of those holidays. We live in the age of understanding, right? No, inner and overstanding. The type of understanding in slavery is over. You're slaved by your mind because you're an idiot. You just never seen it or heard it, and then you get offended by it. Like the word, people get offended by the word idiot. They've never defined it, never actually taken the time. Idiotos and ignoramus are the same meaning. The ignorant means you've never seen it or heard it in your life. So you can't get mad at somebody if they're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? If that makes, but they won't do that. They don't want to hear that. They're offended. It's like when you walk up and tell somebody about Christmas, oh, it's about the kids. Come on. No, it's about teaching these kids not to do these things from a young age and building on the rock. Let's bring them to the rock, not some fat dude coming down a chimney or squeezing through a keyhole. He says anybody who enters by any other way, remember, is a thief and a robber. That's what the scripture says. It's gaslighting. Yep. Exactly. There we go. We teach this. It's taught from a young age. Thank you. Sabrina hit the nail right over the head. We're teaching them this with these lies about rabbits and big dudes wearing, basically that same Christmas tree with the sun on top of the tree, right? Ho, ho, ho. You want to know where all the hoes are at? Ask Santa. There we go. Prostituting your children out for the commercialism. And to the sun goddess, right? Well, the spring goddess, the wife of Satan, the sun, Ishtar, the lunar goddess is what she's. They got both sides covered, brothers, sisters, day and night. Day and night. The lonely stoner seems to free his mind at night. Day and night. Oh, hold on. That's for you, Connection. Man, I like that song. Could be playing at the end of the world, right? And it's not going to ever come to an end like you think, but that song will be legendary. So, you like that song. Everybody loves that song. How could you not like that song? So, go out and take up your cross today, brothers and sisters. When the Messiah says, take up your cross through Matthew and Luke, and that's just a good song. I don't know why it's such a good song. So, some songs are always going to be the bestest. Forever songs, like they're playing all those songs at the end of the world as you know it, and you're like day and night. I was singing the rest of it in my head, but we'll stop. So Kid Cudi, there we go. I like rope you the moon, or give you the moon. Have you listened to the song Give You the Moon? It's an excellent song. So brothers, sisters, this is a time now where we don't live in the age where you had to look up with encyclopedias and fish, fish at a lot, you know what a microfish is at a library? Go look it up on a slide, look through books, and it's all right there at your fingertips. Yeah, there's another name. He has another name, but it's called Give You the Moon by, he actually has two names. It's strange because he goes by one name, but he had an older name. Does anybody know the name of the artist that the song Give You the Moon? They do. The first time I ran into this song was on a rendition of somebody covering addiction, and it was that little bird that walked up and slurped up the little dot on the ground, and then it lifted him, and it shows addiction. So darn it, come on. Thought if I'd talk about it, it would just come to my head. Hold on. Maybe I'll take a BH, a Bravo Hotel, how copy, and it'll come back to me. I keep wanting to say starts with an N, but it's an excellent song. And then if you watch the video for both of them, the one with the addiction, it's excellent. And then his video is pretty awesome too, because it's just an illustration. Just kind of, I don't know, some songs just stick to me. And so I just like to share when I find something. We all have a different taste in music. So like we all have different taste in, food, right? So you don't want to tell somebody what they like in their ear. Maybe you'll think that's garbage. I don't like that at all. But I really like all kinds of music. I do. I'm not dead set on one genre. So I don't like that. No genre. Remember Bob? B.O.B. Bob? No genre? Okay. B.O.B. Bob. Let's take a B.O. or B.H. Bravo Hotel. Okay, hold on. Man, it's right there on the Give You the Moon. Little Peep? Is that what it's called? Give You the Moon. Yeah. Give You the Moon. I don't know if it's Little Peep. I didn't know it was that. Maybe he's got a different name. Yeah, go listen to that song. It's only like 2 minutes. It's a pretty short song. It's not a super long song, but it's a pretty good song. But let's move back into the discussion, guys. Today is one of those days when the Messiah is telling you to take up your cross. He's telling you need to suffer. You need to be crucified. And the crucifixion is when the world hates you. And when the world hates you, then you're taking up and you're bearing the true gospel. That's the gospel, because like what Ryan said, when you go bear witness that these are pagan holidays, they don't want to hear it. And man, you're hurting the kids. No, it's the complete opposite of what, remember, like Sabrina said, it's irritating. It is literally to the core, to the marrow. It just grinds your gears. Like I said, man, are you that? You have all this information at your fingertips. You live in the age of understanding, the the World Wide Net, and you're all caught up in this worshiping of holidays, Nice. So you guys, you need to do this every day, okay? Because everybody has a birthday, and they celebrate and lie and tell lies to our kids during these. And the only birth date is the birth of the birth. That's what this is. It's another celebration of birth, brothers, sisters, whether you realize it or not. Like new life, it pops up, it springs up when? April Fools. Right, like Reaganomics. Remember Reaganomics, Sabrina? Trickle-down effect with economics, but Reaganomics. That didn't work out like everybody said, did it? But like poop, it runs downhill. So like diarrhea, it runs in the genes, remember? So, hey, whatever. So, but brothers, sisters, we get these days that come, and we can use these as the days to go out and be burnt, to take fire, to take darts. Remember, and he says, no fiery darts will penetrate your armor because you got the word. So you look at them, you're like, oh my gosh, you're just not going to listen, are you? You just don't. You say you like kids, but you're literally propagandizing them. You're perverting their minds. You're doing something that is not ever said any time ever in Scripture. Does it say the word Easter? It didn't say that. It said Passover. It only says it one time, and it's a translation of the word, right? No, it's not. It doesn't even translate. The holiday that they celebrated, the sex goddess, has nothing to do with the rising of Christ. It has this date was set apart as a Passover date that he would kill your firstborn child. And now you're going and dyeing eggs because Samaramus, like an ovulation cycle, the woman's egg drops through and dies, right? That's what you're celebrating with the red eggs. Go look at this. It has its own pagan roots, and they don't want to talk about it. Oh, come on! This is innocence. No, it's not. So do not accept that from people, brothers and sisters. Depart from these vipers. They're vipers. You'll know them by their fruit. They're bad apples, and they will. Father says one bad apple. Well, he says a little leaven, like one bad apple upsets the whole apple cart. Leaven leavens the whole lump. So these are our times to go bear witness. I told you could do this every day because they celebrate births with these children all year long. But when you come to this prime time date, you're like, hey, come on, look at what this is you're doing right now. What's going on, MA? We're talking about, how our supposed blood relatives celebrate these things, and it irritates us because they don't want to listen to us. They tell us, they flip us the bird. They tell us, oh, it's about the kids, when these things are actually poisoning the children's minds. And he said, you better have a millstone tied around your neck and to be cast into the sea than to hurt one hair on my children's head. And he knows the number of hairs on our head, brothers and sisters. And his children are not just infants, and they're his sons of God, his children of all ages, if you want to call through times and whatever. You think age is a number? You're crazy. You are. Oh, I'll be the crazy one. Okay, it's 2026, right? No, it's not. Shut up. April Fools, get away from me with your 2026 Jesus nonsense. We're past that time, brothers and sisters. You don't have to ride out on a horse for, 4 or 5 hours to hear a pastor try to give you some fake watered down Jesus. You have the web. Everybody does. There's no excuse. Everybody's got what used to take city blocks sitting there when they're taking a poop. A deuce. I'm not lying. I'm bringing it to you straight. So there, want me to tiptoe around the tulips with you? I'll give you a job planting tulips. How about that? Tulips up, tulips down. Want a job? All right, moving on. So all these rituals, all these things are not scriptural. That's the other thing, where if you want these people who don't try to, people, you're not trying to turn anybody. Remember, you're just bringing this to people's attention. You're showing them to the narrow way. That's it, because they're in the broad way. That's all you have to do. That's it. Remember that. So this is that time where you're on the equinox. Remember, if you can get this thing, I have many teachings of this. You go back through the channel. You back over Jim Brown. Stay away from him during the Christmas time. But bring them over here to this imagery. This is what they're worshiping, brothers and sisters. Some people say it takes, everybody has a different, when I was in the military, we called it step-by-step instruction. Because some people learn at a third grade level, while some people learn at a college, and you still got to bring the troops along. No soldier left behind, right? So to speak. The nonsense like you're hearing over there in Iran. Yeah, right. How much you want to bet that soldier comes out and they'll have Iran will have them. They'll put up a ransom for it. But this is what they're celebrating. This is their cross, their celebration of their tree, Moloch worship, right? Nimrod. Tammuz was the son of Nimrod, right? Beelzebub. Baal is sun worship. That's why they put the light on top of the tree, or the star. This is Ishtar. Remember, Tammuz was the son of Satan. Catholics do the weeping of Tammuz. That was Jesus Christ, birthed on December 25th. Jesus, remember, your Christmas Jesus, your Mass A Jesus, This is your Christmas wreath. They thought this was a goddess of heaven spinning the Big Dipper, right, around the North Star. They thought there was a goddess of heaven up there spinning this Big Dipper around at the equinox. They perverted this calendar. The New Year's does not start in the middle of the winter. See, but most people, they see the swastika and don't realize that's a peace symbol. And he said, do not think I came to bring peace, because he's telling you don't do that. I divide. I'm the separator. I am the horizo. They do this north and south worship, brothers, sisters. The light over the top of the tree, Baal and Grove. It's just perverted. It's like nothing's changed. They just accounts moved and the names changed, right? Same worship under a different name. Never written in Scripture. Where does it say Easter in Scripture? Oh, it does once, but it talks about, right, Passover. Never does it talk about bunnies or rabbits or having for sex and fertility. It talked about if you don't give 5 shekels and pay 5 shekels to the king and have a sacrifice, and we're not under these fees and fines and sacrifice and blood rituals and celebrations and feast days and end gathering and tabernacles and unleavened bread and Sabbath and remember, we're not under this, right? That's what he did. Why he hung on a tree to make it a contract to fulfill the law. No, you're not. You are a God. That's what you are. You're a little deity. You're a little G God. Let this person ramble for a second. We're not supposed to 2 times. So why are you typing in capital letters? You don't need screaming here. You can get a YouTube channel and make your own channel if you'd like. But God is a title. That means deity, demonion, demon, and distributor fortunes or lies. That's what you are. Exactly. You come into the wrong channel. Probably works in most channels, no working here. You don't even know what a demonion is, do you? In the Scripture, it says, remember, you know what a deity, you say God, little g gods. So, okay, so once again, you don't have any authority. Authority is Torah. You speak like a dragon. So, they do. You speak like an alien tongue. Some weak Jesus. Get away from me, Jose. Go mow our Jesus. Go mow my lawn. Go over there with Fernando. Edge, mow, and blow. Fernando, I think he's got some of that too. If you go over there with your little, whatever, your carpet Jesus. I don't know what you're flying on there, Aladdin. I guess he took it to the bathroom. So, okay, so no carpet Jesus in here, please. Okay, don't have that. So anyway, so remember Ishtar, the son of Satan, right, was Tammuz. Ishtar was his mother. Let's bring this up. This is why we need to bring this up today. This is the PDF. This is the PDF ritual of Chronos. Chronos. Remember? Spring, equinox, equal day, equal night. I'm trying to show you guys this so you can use this. And if they don't see this, then leave them alone. It's not like it's even hidden at all. It is as plain as the nose on your face, and unless you look down, you don't actually see it. You could look in the mirror, you might do a blog and see your nose, but so the Greek god Mithra was the name during Rome. There you go. Mithra is what they called the deity. Mithra, the sun god, had a wife called Ashtaroth or Ishtar. They call Easter now. That's what you're celebrating, is the one who had sex with her son. That's why you see these EpiPen files coming out. They're rubbing it in everybody's face. Nobody's going to jail. Notice that. Remember Epstein? It didn't Epstein himself and Charlie Kirked himself. Spock, Nanu. Kirk, get it? Hello. Back to the Future. So. Oh, wait, that was Doc. And, Marty. McFly, hello, McFly, your shoe's untied. Don't be so gullible, you butthead. All right, I had to go there. I did throw a little movie in there. So, how are you guys living? Are you out taking up your cross today? He said, take up your cross daily. He didn't hang from a cross. He didn't carry a cross. He tells you to carry a cross. So, cross is pagan. Paganism, Easter, that's a pagan holiday. A Satan in the adversary. We're not to do these things. It's a celebration of sex with children. Throw your kids in the fire, eat your kids. It's like eating McDonald's. What flavor? Do you like them barbecued? They barbecue a man, remember? Eat his body, deity, little g God, daemonion. Let's go full circle like a Christmas wheel, Yule wreath, like the halo, Saturn, sun. Remember, like a crown? I come quickly in Revelation. Let no one take your crown. That's right. None of them will go to jail. Because this is Satan's playground. This place was given unto the adversary, brothers and sisters. You're not in some heaven on earth. Earth is ruled. Heaven on. No, inward. Inner stand, not under. Get away from me. You get off your knees. I know when I've been licked. Get away from me. You're not a slave. Go away from me. We won't have any prostitution going in here. No, remember, he didn't like that. They are selling their bodies to feed themselves. You broke my covenant. And they're literally having to, and you're supposed to give them half of what you own. And you broke my, remember, Deuteronomy? So he said, if you covet now another man's wife, that is adultery. So if you even think about it, don't use your riches. Don't use what less or more. I'll take those with less will have more, those with more will have less. That's how this works, brothers and sisters. You got to turn this place upside down. There's no heaven on earth. The kingdom of heaven is within. Called the kingdom of God, right? What Paul said, if you want to use that term. He's the most high God. Elohim, right? Elyon, El. The one that doesn't dwell in temples made by hands. The Most High doesn't dwell in temples made by Easter sunrise, spring, April Fool's service, celebrating the rising of the sun at the Horizo, remember? So I hope you feel abundant in this channel to be, given this aletheia, these truths to go share with these others so you can put that armor on, as Paul says in Ephesians twice, declare that witness in a contract, make it declare, right? You have to have two witnesses. There's one right there that'll steal your inheritance, and there's one right there hanging on that cross right in front of your face. Remember, like the nose right there. So that's right, Saturn, because they prayed at the equinox to Saturn to try to slow the sun, remember, on 9/23, right? And they would have their All Hallows Eve, a Catholic ritual, a dual pagan holiday combined to make one bags full of sugar ritual we were talking about. Then they come in and they barbecue the man. Remember the king of the Yule wheel, like the Christmas wreath. And they crown him and they lottery him off, and then they have sex with beast, man, and woman. It's the transgender Jesus, the booby Jesus. Remember? At the equinox, right? It comes down here in the months of the darkness, like the son of Satan, Tammuz, the under the sea, the dark months, darkness, fruits of darkness, and then the light over the dark. They thought the sun was dying, so they prayed to Saturn to try to slow the sun at the equinox. That's what you're celebrating right now. All this Ishtar is all this celebration that starts all over again at Samhain. They have their pagan holidays during their sun worship, but this is the dark months. We're coming into the weeping of Tammuz, and the sun is that we just went through all these hella days. Sugar ritual. So, yep, and raw. We talked about that yesterday as well. Amen. That's why they say amen. Notice we don't pray like that anyways. He said pray not like the heathen. So we don't amen raw or bless people or none of that. That's be less. Get away from me. You get off your knees. You're not underneath me, right? Are you below me? Well, in planting tulips, what are you doing when you're down there? So get away from me. Get behind me, Peter. Oh, we got some Brokeback Mountain going now. Sodomites. Lupercalia, the worship of the ass. Not the donkey. Cupid's arrow, shot through the heart. and you're to blame. It's agape. It doesn't say love anywhere in Scripture. Where does it say love? It doesn't say the word love. Get away from me. Remember, he said phileo is not agape. I'm not asking you if you phileo me, Peter. That's why we need to define these words. So, April Fools, new life, new year springs up. So, brothers, sisters, this is the worshiping of the sex goddess who had sex with her son. Glazine Maxwell, did you forget about her too? Did you see all the weird stuff going on with her body double, some weird looking oddity? Yeah, they're in on it too. Ivan the Terrible, Anka, stripping? No, whatever. On poles, remember? North and South worshiping the pole, daddy. Like Halo, going around a halo, like a circle, like a Saturn ring. So, brothers, sisters, this is an abomination. And they involve this with children and drag these kids out and look for eggs and sugar and eggs filled with money and eggs filled with tricks are for kids. Father is created this evil, just so you know. So you're not going to change anybody, okay? You show them to the narrow way 2 times and leave them alone. They don't live in the age where, again, you had to ride on horseback and you went to go get there. You had to walk all day on foot there. You got to give you some watered down Jesus. They have the interweb. They're going to be judged that shall be judged. So the measure you pour out on others will be pure. So if you go by these holidays, you're going to be judged by that. And we were told not to do these. He fulfilled it when he hung on a tree and he made that contract with his bride. He said he did not abolish. He said it was fulfilled. All these celebrations, so we don't do these things. That's why he fulfilled all the celebrations, the feast days of end gatherings, trumpet, unleavened bread, all these, remember, set apart days. All these other days that these people do are not ever in Scripture. And I already explained to you, if you look, right, so you'll understand, take this in, that these days are not written in Scripture. Passover is Easter. You know what I'm saying? Well, there you go. Thank you. That's not, see, it's not even the right guys. They've perverted the whole calendar. If you would, oh, it's probably the farmer out there dragging the field. I'm like, man, I hear a tractor. Who's in a tractor? So, all right. So, yeah. So, yeah, we've shown that. All right. Well, the calendar, this is how far off the calendar is. Remember, these people are such Satanists, brothers, sisters, as they celebrate the new year in the middle of the winter. The New Year's does not start in the middle of the winter. When you celebrate the Mass, the Christ is a pagan term. You're celebrating the eating of human flesh. They had a celebration for the 17th for a week to the 24th where they'd lottery off a man and have sex with beast, man, and woman. It was an orgy. So this calendar's off because they're celebrated to line the equinox, equal day, equal night, to put the sun over the top, right, of the tree. The worshiping of the tree is Moloch. Remember? Moloch. You throw your kids in the fire. Kronos. We were just talking about this. The whole calendar has been perverted. It's not 2026. There's no gods in the sky. Stop it. But this is what people do, brothers and sisters. This is why he outlawed. He says it, Jeremiah. Remember? Jeremiah said, don't pray for them, okay? Guys, listen to what he's telling us through Jeremiah. He says, oh, heareth what the Lord say, oh, Israel. Remember, Lord is a term that was added. I'm just using your pagan terms, okay? Heareth what the Lord say, oh, Israel. He's only talking to his bride. Learn not the ways of the heathens. Heathenism is of the worship of these things of the idolism. And be not dismayed at the ways of the signs of the firmament, these markers that are left above your head, right? And I'm not, when I bring attention to these celestial markers, like it says in Genesis, for times and seasons, so you know the age and the day. You're not supposed to look at, he said there would be signs in the stars, sun and moon, signs for times and seasons. So you know what time, but we're not supposed to take and pervert the calendar. It says that the serpent, Leviathan in the garden, the deceiver, would be able to change times, correct? Yes, it says that. So this has been happening remember 14th century, the Gregorian calendar, this blending of this pagan calendar with the lunar calendar, the sex goddess Ishtar, Ashtaroth, the sun and lunar worship, sun and moon worship, tree worship, grove, Baal in the grove, the same thing that was outlawed, that was the deadly head wound, that was rebranded, rebrought into the church by Constantine in the 12th century, right? Prior to this, where he thought he was going to lose his empire, where they were worshiping these Gothic gods of transgender, where they celebrated at the equinox and ate flesh and drank blood, vampirism and cannibalism. Masse is Christo Masse. That's the, you can lop letters off of it and smash it together. That's celebrating the sun god Mithra. And he had a wife called Semiramis or Ashtar, or excuse me, Ashtaroth or Ishtar. They call it Easter now, right? So all this celebration, that's the one who had sex with her son. That's the fertility sign of fertility. Rabbits. Tammuz loved rabbits. She had sex, had tricked silly rabbit with her son. Tricks of her kids. This is where this comes from. This is why Mr. Warp Speed is pushing it out. Everybody in Congress is nearly a millionaire. And they shut up about this because they're in on it too. Divide and conquer. Two cheeks of the same hole, wings of the same donkey, is mocking the republic. This is a constitutional republic because you're an ass, you don't know, or you're making an ass of yourself by even speaking up because you don't know what you're talking about. Never seen it or heard it, and the people don't. They speak on things that never had any. Oh, well, come on. Ryan ran into it earlier. It's about the kids, Ryan. Leave them alone. You're not turning anybody. That's the word rebuke. Father does this. Father rebukes them. Remember, we don't live in a day where they don't have access to all this information. Bis is knowledge, he said, right? Knowledge, bis. My people shall perish for lack of bis, knowledge. They'll gnash teeth. They'll hang on to that flesh because they never come out of it. Come out of my people. They're stuck in this flesh. That's exactly where they're staying. They're in that hell in their head, that empty space, place, box, whatever you want to call it. Temple. The body is a temple. Well, crown. You got two temples on the side of your head, correct? And who speaks for you? See, the word rebukes people. You know, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. What the f is that? Jesus is Satan, the sun god, Mithra. You're going to rebuke me? No, the word rebukes me. Name, it says Shem. And I'm not under the Torah. And I'm not under the Halakha or Haggadah. Your Mishnah. I don't do these things. The perversion. And then did it in front of the kids. Because he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's probably never looked this up, right? So Ryan didn't give him the time of day and declare two witnesses, right? No, he probably just moved on. Is like, put on the armor and what can you do? You can't turn, remember? Father will rebuke him. Maybe someday Father made him take up his cross. He went out and bared that light to others, and it's like a boomerang effect. Maybe it'll take 5 days. Maybe 5 weeks later. Hell, it might be 5 years later, but one day it would, or it may never. Father said, if I didn't call out to the hearts, he's the one that rebukes our hearts to seek after me, seek these truths, seek the aletheia, ask, eat with only those that are in the narrow way, right? Ask and you shall receive the truths, the aletheia, not a job, not more candy in the bag, not a wife, not a rack on your wife, a rack on your truck. No, but discernment, spiritual of these truths. Seeking you shall find. He will show you the narrow way to those. So people are not going to want these truths, so he is the one that's going to rebuke them. The word. Ryan just did his part. That's called being a disciple, going out and planting seeds like the mustard seed. Remember, it grows to be largest. So he did his job. Move on. Fishers of men, don't cast your pearls like sowing seeds or sowing pearls, right? Before swine, you can't turn goats into sheep. So, these people aren't going to change. We don't live in a day, brothers and sisters, where we use encyclopedias and microfiches at the library. And, it took a hell of a long time to get the loser story, let alone the victor who is written in a book. But there's other side of remember, shut up. You don't get to write it. The writers, remember? So remember, Father's creator. So Father's truly the writer of all things. But the author You can edit your name out of, if you want to call it a book of life, but the blotting out of handwriting of ordinances in the book of Colossians 2 and 14. Got to stick with Paul's writings, man. We had a good discussion yesterday too with Brother Scott over at his channel at Stoner Connection about the spirituality. He truly is, truth is aletheia, one of these brothers that I think understands this covenant of spirit, not of blood. Wrestle not against blood, flesh and blood. Heareth what the Lord say, O Israel. Learn not the ways of the heathens. Be not dismayed at the ways of the sides of the firmament. The heathens are dismayed at them for their customs, their traditions, their rituals, these celebrations of peace and safety and all. Remember, all these wheel worship, is vain. He tells us, do not do these things. 2026 is a vain year. Anybody who thinks it's 2026 is a Satanist. And it's the adversary. Show them to the narrow way. Don't bake them hot cross-top buns. Show them to the narrow way, just like Ryan did. Full circle. And you do that with everybody. And then make sure you don't fall off the bandwagon there or fall off the train. He said Jeremiah, he said it's vain, it's worthless. But these people do this as vanity, to put on a face, like they go to the church to be seen at Easter sunrise service, and then they seen at Christmas, and they only care about the homeless on Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? So, well, that's what I'm saying. They just show up to these, but never do you see them in studying the word and supping with any, because it's just a vanity thing. It's a masquerade. They put it on, a veil. They're nice. They be stupid. Remember, to be nice is to be stupid. So they don't even, remember, they're idiots. You're not going to turn a goat into a sheep. Leave them alone. Greatest of all times. We're the greatest of all time. Or goat Jesus. Baal. Well, remember, 420 is the birth of the sun god. I don't do 420. So 420 is the birth of the Revelation King, seventh king that's being revealed as the eighth king. So that's why I don't remember Mr. Spasti, the birth. So, well, in the flesh, in the modern day of the seventh king, that would be revealed as the eighth king in the days that are written in Scripture. So, and now it's spiritual, remember? And it's the Spasti. There it is, right there in front of your face. The one who inverted it. Okay? So that's what that seventh king of Revelation, it is the one that's locked in the pit. And that's the one Mr. Warp Speed has his house decorated with. At the time of Rome. It's that same, so this spiritual, remember, that's what connection got. Yeah, I understand that too, but this is what I said. You ever seen my video on Silver's Like Gold that I did on 420? If you haven't seen that video, go back over to connection to Silver's Like Gold channel, the backup channel, and go see my video about 420. Okay? So, see what I'm saying? There you go. The king of Revelation, the seventh king, rebirth, the wheel. You guys got it. Outstanding. I love you, brother, for that, though, because you understand it's the spiritual Antichrist that's being released. Everybody waiting to build a third temple and all those blocks and everything's there, but it's there. The temple are spiritual cubits. You understand? No, you understand now. You don't you've overcome this. It's called Silver's Like Gold, and I did a video on 420, and it talks about the date in California and Humboldt County. I go to historical. So here's what I would say for you, connection. Let's not do it on 420. Let's do it on any other day. It's like this, for an example. Here you go, connection. Oh, what is it? Did I miss it as our anniversary, honey? No, we don't do subject. What did is it my birthday? Oh, what? No, I'm doing this because I care about you. Do I need to have a calendar? Remember Jeremiah 10, learn out their traditions. These people expect a gift on a certain day. Fortunes. On fortunes. So I'll give you some historical record on the date, 420, the Champa gang, I think that's what it was called, where they went out into California. I'll throw some historical, watch my edits too. I missed one edit. I really wish when I did because I use edits on CapCut on a phone, guys. Right. Do it on any other day. So on the video, guys, I don't want to spoil it for you. Go watch it. It's a short video. It's not that long. It's called Silver's Like Gold. I say make every day 420. Okay. That's like you're giving something to your wife or something, because you can give gifts, but you're not doing it on a holiday, anniversary, Easter, and he's like, or she's like, what, did I forget our anniversary? No, I'm doing this because I care about you, honey. Do I need to have a flipping calendar to show you love? I don't like the anticipation and the letdown. People spend their whole check, sometimes a month or all year. They work to fill a credit card and work all year to pay that off. Christmas robs them more suicide goes up that time of year, arson, robbery, domestic violence, high crime, all of that goes up, brothers, just because of all the intaking of all the stress. It's expectation. I've done videos on this too before, brother, sister. Put a lot of content. I got thousands, tens of thousands of hours of channels content that if you had the time to go through, but I've talked about these things. The expectation of the holidays. People don't get something and they get disappointment because they can't give the gift. Not that they didn't get the gift. You ever think about that? Because they feel so strapped to have to celebrate these commercialism hot holidays on a calendar. Dude, it's insane. It puts people at a stress level that, like I said, some people max their credit cards and then work all year long to pay for cheap Chinese crap. If they don't get it on Turkey Day, right? Black Friday. Black isn't have anything to do with, black means you're not in the red anymore. It's actually a positive thing, not a negative thing. Red is negative, black is positive. No, black is negative. Shut up. Get away from me. Black lives matter. All lives matter. Pedo lives don't matter. I take that back. Father doesn't love everybody. Pedo lives don't matter. Hashtag that out. Send that around the world. Whatever. Never done that before. Yes, this is the same channel. Just we, obviously, the ministry, but just rebranded the same channel. Same content, but thank you for 91st. Been doing this since America Ever After. That's probably 13 years old. I don't know how old that channel is on YouTube. Somewhere around there, 12 or 13 years that I did. I've had channels that have been taken down, guys. They stripped out both Truth Viral Television and America Ever After, and I can't get into my email, Gmail. I can't do anything. It's still awesome that they're up. Father's got to protect it on lockdown, baby. It's awesome. I feel like it's Father allowed this legacy to be. It didn't matter. I put it into the cloud anyways, even if it is taken down. So you burn anything that I put on this content, that is like World War II, like burning books, man. You burn my content, you burn information from me, you ban my channel, it's no different than World War II. Brothers, sisters, you know what I'm saying? All glory to Shiloh. Thanks. Good to have you back, 91st. I didn't go anywhere. Remember, that was a really some interesting times that happened in my life. So Father's got me in a really horrible and a great position all at the same time. It's my crazy life. If you followed me for a while, you know that. But hopefully my core hasn't changed. The base of what this channel is, nothing's changed but the weather. Now it's just more modified by towers, G-Wiz 5, like spewing, all over you when you're in a city. Get it? 5G Wiz. Like Cheese Whiz, but G-Wiz. 5G, get it? Millimeter wave. People get stuck. They start in town. That is, yeah, you can copy any content off my channel too, Connection. You know that I won't copyright anything, so you can clip anything from this channel. Predestined for Light, Truth Viral Television. I told you, probably one of the best videos you guys would like for every one of you to watch, if you truly do like this content here, was when I worked and I was a hero, all over the flags in the back and all that. We stopped doing some of the things, but go see Truth Viral Television and go look at the video that I put out. I think this could be about a 12-year-old video. So I've been doing this for more than a decade. Okay, I've been doing this. Some of us are stacking decades on this platform. Okay, But go look at the video that I put out about the 900 and was it 924 executive orders during the 44th administration that Obama put out. Because what it did is it was a future tense video that showed you a roadmap prognoskos to have foreknowledge of what it was to come. And it pointed out that soft medical, what you experience with the scamdemic, the face diaper, everybody act like children, stand on the X, go inside, flatten the curve. It was showing you this medical they could take over, and they're going to do all of this, brothers, sisters. That video is probably the most crucial video I think I've ever put out on YouTube. Seriously, I have put out some, not that this, I mean, as far as content of like a roadmap of what is to come. Because people, like, when they think like I'm trying to explain to you now, when I put content on TikTok, because remember Predestined for Light on TikTok as well, I talked about the draft. None of you will, let's talk about the flipping draft, guys. Why did they make it 42 years old? Remember, it was 34. That's a big difference. That scoops up a lot more bodies, brothers. So they don't do these things as a veteran. We don't train to go fight in a city and fight in the desert. And we don't train to go fight in the desert and then go fight in a city. We train for what we are going to execute, which mission that we are going to carry out. Carry on, move out, draw fire. You just, so this is coming, brothers, sisters. That video, Prognosko, talked about this time like what's happening now with putting ICE in the airports. You're not leaving when the draft comes. You're not getting out of this country. They're getting used to people conscription like they did in Ukraine. It's going to happen here. Throwing people in vans and taking them off and sending them to Iran. No, they're not. Shut up and get out of here then. Just go back to your life, go to the farm, go do something. I'm not trying to put any information in your ear. I'm not trying to be a prophet. I know game, 5D, war game, this chess, this game right here, they're on this world stage that some of us have been like Dabu 7. If you're not subscribed to Dabu 7, you're missing the boat, man. The dude puts out short channel content videos, short, straight to the point, and been doing this for a dozen, 12, 13 years plus as well. Every day he puts out content you can glean from. You should discern everything I've ever said on YouTube. I haven't gotten it all right. I can tell you that. I do get most things pretty close because I'm not making any prediction. I'm telling you what it is they're saying that they're doing, but people don't want to listen. I can't be a messenger when it's already happening, correct? If I'm going to sound the alarm, not to cause alarm, like Jeremiah, be not dismayed at the ways of the signs of the firmament as a magi with this celestial gospel, right? If the wave is already overtaking everybody, if it's already here. I'm not a messenger. The messenger comes early so you can get out of the way, like a road sign for what is to come. Prognosko, to have foreknowledge of, right? Wavy road, get prepared, slow down. Here, it's to come. Many signs and no signs, not like a stop sign, alto, stop, right there. I want it now, are forecome of what is to come, foreshadow, prognosko, they mirror, they do the same thing, nothing new under the sun, they repeat a cycle. They ride the debt cycle, they ride the yuga cycle, they ride all these cycles, brothers, sisters. So just so you're paying, attention where you're spending your time now, this is happening. They didn't change the age of conscription or a draft. We've got a fancy name of it, like a head on a beer or something, like a beer. You're drunk, you're intoxicated, you've fallen asleep. Why did they change the age of conscription? Thank you for bringing it up, because we got to talk about this, guys. If you know anybody's 42, they don't even care if you have a conviction for cannabis or marijuana. It's such a derogatory, childish word, but either way, it does matter, brothers, sisters. They keep sending more boots over to Iran. And if you see the Lego wars, they're memeing us to death, and we're losing. F-35 is they weren't supposed to be able to take those out of the sky. Look at what they just took out Israel's, all of their freaking F-35s and their backup ones. Masterly crafted. The military intelligence, I'm a military police. We work straight with the MI because we're the first ones that go to war. With the Cav Scouts, with the Marines, Semper Fi, tip of the spear. I don't want to go into all the details. First one to battle, and because of POWs, the last ones to leave out of war. So I know the time, right? Eisenhower warned of the military-industrial complex. Roger Waters calls it the war machine. So you better pay attention. I want you to pay attention to the vernacular, verbiage, glossa, tongue, dialectus. It's alien to you. Alien is a word, not some kind of god in the sky. It's a GFO. Get the fuck out of here. Government flying objects, not unidentified. It's them. They have the Tesla tech. Trump's got it. Tesla with his stinky muskrat buddy, the restrainer. They had a car that could go over 1,000 miles on a single charge in the 1800s, brothers and sisters. You're not paying attention. This is all being scripted right before your eyes. But it will, though, DSW. That's what I'm saying. It's the same thing as Vietnam. Let's not deny this. That's why I want to have the discussion. It's that you can enlist, but it'll automatically, just like Vietnam, turn into a draft. So yes, it will. You mark my words. I'm not a prophet. So listen to what DFW or DSW is saying. What they're saying is the enlistment age, brothers and sisters. And I'm talking about a draft and conscription. Two different things. It's a volunteer military. Like I joined a volunteer military. There's no draft. There's no conscription. It's not like they're going to throw you in white vans in Ukraine, men and women, and throw you in the meat grinders. You see what DSW has brought up. But this is where this is going to lead. Okay? So thank you, DSW, for setting this straight, because I don't want to marry truth to a lie. I joined a volunteer military. Okay? 34 was the maximum. You couldn't have any convictions for, cannabis or they have changed that now. Okay? So that's correct. But the draft is coming, brothers and sisters, because listen, they auto draft, right? No, auto signed up for the draft. Anybody who was 26 or younger in December of 2025. So now that would I would think, because I know the way the system would automatically put anybody at 42 now. Automatic enrollment. You don't have to go there and sign up. Do you know that? If you turn 18 now, you don't have to go. They're auto-enrolled as of December. Then they changed the verbiage and it says all in conscription. It doesn't say male. It says all citizens. This is going to lead to the path to, remember, they've done this before, to citizenship if they come as an immigrant to join our services. More bodies to send in the meat grinder, brothers, sisters. Now listen, they just changed that too. They allow those people to be here in America. They changed that law to be in the high schools now. Connection, thanks for bringing that up. Look how much they're pushing this. Recruiting. Recruiters are now in the schools. They used to come visit and put the presents, and now they've allowed them to be in right there, like an office. I was looking at it, I'm like, they're pushing this right on. This is their, like I said, you don't see the ICE at the airports. That's the draft coming, so you won't leave. You're not getting out of here. That's part of these things, and I'm not making a prediction. In ways, it just doesn't add up. They got how many people in Iran? They've already got probably 50,000 troops in Kuwait over there in the desert, sitting there waiting. He's acting like we're pulling out. His pullout game sucks, like Joe Biden, out of Afghanistan, but at least he did pull out. He left a bunch of stuff behind. So how's that a good pullout game? But anyways, Bush did the same thing. Stay out of the bushes. I told you to stay out of the bush. No one listened to me, remember? More people voted for Al Gore. Rhythm, right, is a dancer. Well, whatever. No, that's Lewinsky, Vladimir. But anyways, right, Al Gore, and they still gave you Baby Bush because of the Electoral College. You don't really get a vote. The people's vote doesn't count. So did you get a vote on going to Iran? Did you get a vote on sending the 81st? Did you get a vote on sending the 101st? Congress don't care about anything. They don't vote on anything anymore. They don't. They've been silent for how long? Decades, pretty much. we've seen some ruling like Roe versus Wade Supreme Court, but we haven't seen anything out of Congress if you think about it. So remember, Congress is the one who makes the laws, not executive order. They're about ready to give all this over to the executive branch. Give that, ability that Congress has. Congress makes the law. Congress shall establish no law prohibiting the exercise of free speech of the press, the right to peacefully assemble, right, or address grievances, religion. Silly. There we go. It's all set up. He defunds Department of Homeland Security, makes the Department of Defense the Department of War. You're not paying attention. You're falling asleep at the wheel. We're in the Third World War. Put a 1 in the chat if you think that the World War III isn't happening yet. And you're waiting for World War III. Because then you can leave after you're done. Thank you for your time. You can exit. You failed at this station. You're a no-go state at this station. Soldier, go back to the last station and try again. They didn't call World War I until World War II. Iran bombed 15 countries, brothers and sisters. 15. Methodically, too. Reactive, not proactive. Remember, they never bombed anybody in America. Ever once has there been a terrorist attack in America on a hunch. Warp Speed went into to attack a country that he said it was going to attack us that's never attacked us ever. So we have entered the Third World War, brothers and sisters. Everybody's waiting to be lockstep, right? Stand on the X, go inside for a one world government as they were one world governance. And it never says it once in Scripture. They pull their one world religion, one world order with their WHO, World Health Organization, right? All their CDC, all this. Remember, lockstep. They all did it. Stand on the X, flatten the curve, go inside. There you go. So this has been going on since the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Look at all these different types. Exactly. Thank you. Connection. Putting the connection. A lot of these people don't see that a lot of this is pre-planned. Like we're saying, it's a world stage. This isn't something that's not, it's going by Daniel. It's going by Ezekiel. It's going by Genesis. It's going by Revelation. Every jot and every tittle will come to pass for that great and dreadful day of the Lord. And they know this scripture better than all the religions combined, brothers and sisters. They have to make it come to pass before the restrainer is lifted. I already told you that. He's got the key. I don't think people focus on that enough. So they know the jots, yods, and tittles better than all of these Christians and Catholics and Protestants and Presbyterians, and they know it better. Started back in 2014 in Ukraine, like I put out on the internet, when they violated the Donetsk agreement. Remember people getting shot from both sides, front and backwards? Yeah, it did. I've been blogging since back then. Remember? Told you I put out videos about Obama and his 923, not 23 executive orders. Why did I say 4? Interesting. So, well, I don't want to go there, but that's when we entered into this, hot war, if you want to call it. See, people don't think that there's a war starting until there's a bomb falling in their backyard, and there's never been a war in America. Right. Well, outside of this country, that started with a bomb falling. Now we start with embargoes. Remember, like World War II? Right. Japan. Same thing. Mr. Warp Speed. He tariffed 4 + 5 is 9. 4 + 7 is 11. President 9/11 on his first go around. Well, if you skip Joe Biden, but he tariffed China, and washers went up $200. So we've always been at war, just so you know. Anytime you see the gold fringe around the U.S. flag means we're at war. So we've always been at war, brother, sister. There's really a time that we were not. Now they do it with what they call private contractors. They can say, hey, we haven't declared war. That's what Warp Speed has done right now. That's why nobody thinks we're at war. Because Congress that's supposed to go through, but he's using his executive. It's hard as a constitutionalist and if it defended the right of the people to sit there and watch people not assert their rights. It says it's repugnant if we're not supposed to actually follow unjust, unright, if it's not adjudicated through the House, Congress, and Senate. The legislative branch, remember, judicial, legislative, executive branch. The presidents don't make laws. Congress establishes a law, brothers and sisters. All these executive orders are unconstitutional. This is an unconstitutional war. It's unprovoked. Remember, they've never attacked us, ever. And yet they were propagandized to told that Iran is the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. It's incredible. We funded the Mujahideen. Remember Hillary, she talked about that. Gaddafi, come on, man. Boko Haram. You follow any of this? These are mercenaries. We have them right now in the streets. They're called ISIS on a 5-year contract. They're being paid. They'll put on any label. You call them Hamas. I don't care. They're paid mercenaries. They'll put on whatever monkey suit you want to ask them to put on. Notice a lot of the times they're all wearing that same getup. It's like somebody's printing their uniforms, kind of like a militant type of thing. Yeah, paid mercenaries. So we've always been at war. And if not, then we got private contractors out, but we're not hiding it anymore. We got F-35 shot down. Dead soldiers, brothers and sisters. How many bodies need to get sent back home before you say, oh, yeah, we're in a war now? So I'm not asking you to agree with me at all. But I know war. I'm a military police. Military police are the first ones I told you. Because of military intelligence. We beat people and we go preemptive strike them, obviously, before they strike us. That's what Mr. Warp Speed went with, what the military would call a preemptive strike. Not till you wait for the Samson option, Israel. Brother, sister, I hope you understand what Israel just took one of the hugest loss. They have no more air superiority, no more air dominance over the Middle East. Iran took that out. Precision strikes. Not this, we're going to hit next to the target. Now they took out. How many F-35s were taken out by Israel? Not the one, and we've had black ops, go in there, or we're blow up airplanes, brothers and sisters, and these people literally just took out all of the air superiority of Israel. Why isn't anybody talking about that either? Do you realize how much that this is Israel's war? Remember, we're going to fight for Israel, yet Israel says they're not sending any boots on the ground. No, they're going to draft your women and children in this country like they did in Ukraine and send them into the meat grinders. That's why they've got these brown coats like World War II going around or whatever, putting people in vans with getting the neighbors. Shh, don't say anything. Oh, there's another van. Must have been from somewhere else. Didn't have their papers. Feel a little more like Germany here. World War II, little Svasti, 7th king being revealed as the 8th king-esque. Well, because they said they wouldn't into the desalination. Brothers, sisters, you can't survive in, there goes Dubai, Bahrain, all this, brothers, sisters, many of these places are too hot. Without water, you can't. And now, look, this becomes a humanitarian thing, and that's why I don't support Iran anymore. No, I don't. When you start hitting in civilian infrastructure, brothers, sisters, that's war crimes. Now, Iran is reactive, okay? Right. We're starting to learn some of these things, Rumble. Rum, I'm so I appreciate it, Rob. No, some of these things it's like the Chinese. They have a lot of things that aren't tried and tested. Our tech isn't going to work like future tech. And I'm not saying things, Dabu talks about, armies of robots going out and clearing out neighborhoods. And it's really hard for anybody to, stop that from happening, but they're not tried and tested. As far as, for long term, that's something called tried and tested is work for, that's why, what do they throw in? I forget the name of those. God, I wish I was better with some of the Air Force, the nomenclatures, but we use some of that old stuff, man. They throw it in, it could come in, the wings shut off, have the engine start working, and they'll still land them. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to focus on, though, this, brothers, sisters. It doesn't matter. Let's step back for a minute and not be able to, let's distinguish the forest from the trees. This is still going to affect our food, brothers, sisters. They took off 40% of Russia's natural gas, which is fertilizer, was taken out. all these oil refineries keep adding up, right? Why are they doing this? Somebody tell me, why are they crippling the oil markets right now? $141 a barrel it got up to the other day for the physical, not the paper, to have the paper, exposure to the ETF, but have the barrel, have the oil, have the plate, Oh, I apologize. You have to speak around the algorithm there, Sabrina. So like I said, people aren't paying attention to what's going on. They keep attacking this oil. That's right. So there's a bottleneck coming, brothers, sisters, like with this Hamas. I talked about it yesterday about the air gap in the hose. When you go turn on the hose, if there's air in the line, it doesn't come. If you haven't been continuously running and you cause a gap, Trump said 2 more weeks, brothers, sisters, 3 more weeks. Okay, let's have a real conversation here. There's an air gap. So we know about the night. That's about right about the time that he says that this air gap's going to come, and we're going to get this air gap's going to come because we haven't seen it yet. Oh, you think it's bad now? You ain't seen nothing yet. Scripture says sorrows. You might want to go back and read some more scriptures. I'm not kidding. This is going exactly. I've been watching a lot of these bloggers talk about how what Trump is doing is crippling China. Some people are starting to actually figure out how this is starting to work, taking over this southern South American continent and strangling out all of our competitor for oil. It's almost like what Iran has been doing to Israel. They've been taking a $50,000 drone or rocket and getting rid of like a $2,000 and the Patriot, like a THAAD, or those launched several, and now they even have that's right. That's right. So I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to be boss sensational. I'm not trying to be sensational and fear porn. Go to the store now, guys. They haven't figured out, the air gap hasn't got here, okay? You can still go get teepee, right, for your bunghole. You waiting to fix your roof when it's raining, or are you going to fix it on a dry day? You're going to go to the store when it's closed to buy food? You don't go to the store when it's closed. You go when it's open, correct? The stores are open, right? You can still travel on the roadways. The cabin is not putting on the fasten seatbelt sign. Remember, during COVID, you put a couple extra things in those 36 rolls in the toilet paper, and they cut off aisles. Remember, taped them off. Essential goods. Careful, brothers, sisters. We ain't even begun to see when this air gap gets here. It's right about that time where Trump said about 2 to 3 more weeks. It's not going to go away. They're not the only people that are going out of Hormuz right now is, I think, France sent a boat, in China, but now they're going to a toll like $1 million. They were talking about 2, but I think they've settled with Oman or right on the other side of the strait there, that they settled and said, okay, we'll $1 million a ship, guys. So the demands of Iran, are not going to be anything close to it. And Iran said, we have not settled on anything. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I would go to Iran. Absolutely. 100%. Iran is a beautiful country. It is. The mountainous areas, the people are amazing people. These are the Persians. Remember, people don't know anything. They've been propagandized. Americans think that, Mexico's bustling. The American's dead. Go to American neighborhood and there ain't no kids out there. Zombie neighborhoods, kids on phones, hardly any kids outside. Nobody owns hardly any house. A bunch of renters. 2:00 in the morning, they're out. Kids playing in the streets, music going. Neighborhoods are busted. It's like going back to the 80s. People have no idea because they've been propagandized. So the Iranians are amazing people who have a long historical record. They are the, Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome, the lion, the leopard, the bear, and the beast with iron teeth. That's the leopard. In scripture, you're not paying attention to anything historically, scripturally, biblically. Remember the Sunnis and the Shiites? These people think they're going to get involved in something that's been going on for thousands of years and go fix something they're not going to fix. It's just not. You're not going to go in there and bomb democracy on people. Remember freedom bombs on people, or democracy bombs that we dropped in Iraq and, Somalia and Yemen. We don't need to go there, do we? So, but let's go back to what I'm saying. The Iranian people are very humble people. They've got great culture, great history, and most of them don't ever chant death to Iran. I think the highest Christian faith in all of the desert is in Iran, if I'm not mistaken. Most people don't know anything about Iran. It sucks. They're Americans. You don't know they're American because they only speak one language. So it has beautiful culture. The people are very humble. If you went there and acted humble and didn't act like some Hallie, if you went to Hawaii, or act like some whitey American, I'm not talking about how melanated your skin is, just the attitude, chip on your shoulder. I'll call it nigger. If you'd like, white nigger, black nigger, brown nigger, red nigger, or yellow nigger. It's an attitude, okay? It's not, people take it. I grew up in the melting pot, so I've seen all shades, okay, of melanin. But anyways, if you went there and you acted like a human being, you would get service and would treat you, the food and the culture, the sightseeing. It's a beautiful place, and it's a beautiful culture with beautiful people, and there's a lot of faith there in that area. And I'm not just because there's Christians there, but there is. And so remember, this is all the original places that were Iran, Babylon, come on, Egypt and Iran and Syria and Palmyra. Go look at study your maps. Okay, I appreciate it. I've said that before, Sabrina. I'm trying to tailor the channel a little bit, but you know how I feel about that. We're not colors. We're more melanated. Nobody's white. Do I look white? I'm more kind of a little more. Well, I'm more of an olive. I don't have that super white, but peach. I'm not an albino. That's still. They still have a peach color to them as an albino Caucasian. You still have some. We're not white people or black people. Okay, remember. I'm black, remember? See? I'm black. And white, if you want to call it. But anyways, just act like a human being. So, yeah, I say that. I was born in the melting pot. It's hard for me to see color. I just don't see color. It's hard to think that, but then again, I remember I tell people that people grow up back east, and that's all their grandpa said and their grandma said it, and they never left town, and we talked about it. They grew up in that small town, and they still think the world is flat. Remember, because when anybody leaves town, they never come back. So that kind of redneck town, you know what I'm saying? So they're flat earthers, right? You know how that discussion goes in here. So, oh man. Oh, I got to make something to eat, guys. I haven't had anything for first part of the day here. I think I'm going to have to paint inside today or keep my shirt on. I got pretty burnt yesterday, guys. I mean, I get tan. If I'm careful and I don't overdo it, I'll get super dark and never peel once or never, but if I overdo it a little bit, I'll like I said, I don't want to overdo it. So I wanted to go out and paint that other side of the building, but it just tore me up the back of my neck. I could feel it at the bottom, especially around my waistband down there towards that area down the hips. I'd probably get, but I got to paint up on the top. I'll probably just go out there and do it anyways. So I'm glad I did put my shirt on yesterday though, because I started feeling it, and I'm like, dude, I ain't even been out here for a minute. You know what I'm saying? A couple hours or something like that, right? Like, why the hell would I feel that on the back of my neck? I mean, I could feel the sun was hot because I'm in the high desert, but I'm like, dude, put your shirt on. If you're feeling it already, you know what I'm saying? Put your shirt on. So I didn't even question it. So we had a solar flare, and I don't, like I said, but I want to get it done, guys. That turned out pretty nice, that one side. I mean, I don't have that other side done, but I wish the wind would stop blowing. I need to do that metal work, and I don't want to try to put the metal up when it's windy. if I just had one person to help me hold it and stuff, but when I got to do it all by myself, it just makes it a challenge to try to put up long, I think it's like 8 feet or something like that, sheets of tin. So I need to get a day where the wind would stop blowing. It's been blowing out here for, I don't know, about a week and a half, almost 10 days now. Every day has had wind. So I'm waiting for that day where there's no wind. So I need to burn some, too. So I want to burn on the day that there's no wind. I don't like to burn when there's any wind at all. So it just, lots of energy, I've been feeling it too, coming from the sun. Tons of energy. Oh, hey, I got some eggs. Maybe I'll make an egg salad sandwich, guys. Hold on. I'm going to grab some eggs and I'll peel some eggs while I'm sitting here talking. Oh, my goodness. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what happened to me, too. And I feel it. It's that sciatica pain from that damn, whatever that sun is doing, man. It's a doing it. It's a doing it. Doing it and doing it and doing it well. Doing it and doing it and doing it well. Is the chicken. Okay. We save all our eggshells out here in the desert and feed them back to the chickens. Blue. This is my one that lays blue eggs. And she's an amazing bird. She has really no comb, very little bit. So, and she's a very prolific. I can't say that word. I was trying to do that the other day. Prolific layer. She does. She laid an egg every day last year. She stopped laying before all the other chickens, but she laid, I think, more eggs than any other of them. More as a whole. So, and I have Rhode Island Reds that lay 300 plus, and Cinnamon Queens, which is a Rhode Island cross. Well, Red Sexley, and that's a Rhode Island. My bad. I don't have any straight Rhode Island, so they're a little hard to peel when they're fresh. And I didn't wash the bloom off them. If I would have washed the bloom off of them, they're a little easier to peel too. But farm fresh eggs are not easy to peel, even if you put baking soda or whatever trick and ice bath them. So it's all right. They're not peeling apart, but boy, they're a little harder to peel. Got to be careful what I'm doing and watch here. Don't believe me, just watch. I showed Scott these yesterday. The yolk on these is not like any of your store-bought eggs. And if anything, I mean, I would eat just the yolks, but look at the color of that yolk. And notice it doesn't have like that gray outer area. It doesn't have the gray on it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the yolks are so... Hers are a little bit lighter, too. I've noticed. Just a little bit. This will probably be real dark orange. Hers aren't yellow, when they're in the pan, but or tin orange. But these Cinnamon Queens, some of them I showed yesterday. That one was just, I mean, it was orange. It was freaking orange. It wasn't yellow at all. So thank you, Father, for all these eggs. I got to water and glass some eggs the next day or 3, guys. I think I got to wait till I go back into town. I got to go pick up the toilet in the next, I don't know when it's going to show up, but I'd like it to show up on like the 6th or 7th. But I'm going to get a pair of those tongs with that like soft I don't know what you call that. I called it yesterday like a neoprene, something you can kind of, and drop all the eggs. I don't break any eggs because I did it on my last batch of water glassing. So now I got to feed all those chicken eggs to the chickens, which is okay. They'll eat them. Heck yeah, they will. They'll eat them. I'll just rinse them off. Okay, apologize. It's a little more of a challenge with these farm pressures. Farm pressures. Hot sauce. That sounds good. Okay, I'll try that. I'll do that. I got some Frank's Red Hot or some Buffalo. Flipping A, man. I did that actually. I forgot that I did that. Oh yeah. You know what I did is really good too. Truther is that you want a little bite of some yolk, buddy? Oh, that's the yolk. That's the best part. Oh, Mr. Pants came over when I got both the eggs done. He came over to say hi. I take and I marinate. I marinate eggs. I'm gonna do that with those other two eggs. I'm gonna peel those right now and get them going. And I marinate them in the sweet Thai chili. You like the sweet Thai chili sauce? I'll make volcano chicken out of it, or whatever I can, use that as my volcano sauce. I call it volcano, but the sweet Thai chili sauce. Take and put some eggs because I marinate. You can put it in there and like marinate them and let them sit in there for a while. Put in the fridge or something, and let them sit. Oh, they're so good. That egg with the sweet Thai chili because it's hot, right? You said that made me think of that. I'm like, now I do with some red hot. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Then I think you kind of like this. Isn't that off the chain? Isn't sweet Thai chili sauce like if heaven ever had a flavor, hot and sweet all at the same time, right? I don't mean to go that on heavens, but man, there's something about because the hot level is not too hot, and I like hot, not super hot, but for most people it is a little hot, but it isn't. It's so mild that it just bam. I know it's not good for me, so I try not to eat too much of it, but teriyaki too, and a good teriyaki. You know what, Stoner? Most people, I don't like this. I do like the teriyaki, but they make it all corn syrupy now. Teriyaki's not supposed to have that corn syrup kind of flavor. Remember, you could get it thicker. Obviously, my dad used to make the best teriyaki sauce. Teriyaki sauce is supposed to thicken up as it cooks, not be thick before it goes on. That's the way true teriyaki works. Brown sugar, soy sauce, garlic, onion powder. My dad used to make, teriyaki sauce. He would marinate skirt steaks, and then that would thicken up as it would cook. All this weird teriyaki sauce they do that's thick, kind of like the sweet Thai chili, or like a hoisin sauce. You guys like hoisin? You guys know what hoisin sauce is? You ever use that? It's got fish sauce in it, but hoisin. You like teriyaki? Stoner, you probably like hoisin sauce. Teriyaki, hoisin is like a teriyaki with on steroids. Have you ever had hoisin sauce? Worcestershire sauce awesome to cook with too. It is. It's just real strong. So, anybody else use hoisin sauce? You know what sauce that is? It's usually cooked in Asian dishes. Got a real nice Asian flavor to it. You want to give it that old Asian persuasion. Yeah, Worcestershire would mix with certain things, just brings it's like it brings the fire out in some things. You don't want to overdo it. That's what I never tried hoisin. Get some hoisin sauce. I think it's Hoison. Yeah, So it just has that good, if you like, kind of a teriyaki, because it has a kind of a teriyaki, and they put some fish oil in it. So it has a lot of the similar ingredients to teriyaki. So it has a good, nice flavor to it. Adds kind of a, and you don't really taste the fish. And I now too, since I don't eat fish, I thought when I eat hoisin I wouldn't want it, but I don't use a lot of it. But there's another one that I'll mix. I don't know if you've ever done this, but I have before, and it turns out really freaking good. Is I take hoisin, Worcestershire, brown sugar, and onion powder, and I make ribs out of that. So they turn out so good. People are like, "What the hell is on your ribs?" So you write that down. That's a pretty good recipe. It is. It's freaking. I don't know what it is, but it's good. I forget what the. That's one of those things. Where I was telling you, you can't put too much Worcestershire, or it dominates. You know what I'm saying? So, but you put the right. If you leave the Worcestershire out, it doesn't taste anything like it. Doesn't have any of the same flavor at all. Whatever that Worcestershire does to that hoisin and that brown sugar and that garlic and that onion, it just makes it go crazy. And it gets so thick, like I said. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna throw some mayo at this and put this on some bread or something. The guy might have a couple hamburger buns or something. Throw it on some hamburger buns. We don't want to do it in the tortilla. Tortilla. Oh man, I gotta get something done here today. We're going to war in Iran with our troops very soon. Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. What does boots on the ground mean to you? Stir, 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 stir. Some egg salad sandwiches. Egg salad. Oh, yes. That's the right amount right there. Oh, I gotta get the cat down here soon. Do some hard groceries. Grocery. Oh boy. That's good. Oh, I didn't put no mustard in it this time. Oh well. All right. Woo! Something in my belly. Made some egg salad sandwiches here. Gotta eat these eggs up, man. I've got like 6 or 7 dozen at least right now. I've got to eat more eggs. We got 11 yesterday. I went back out there and I went and got 10, and I thought I heard one out there late in the day. She just might be one of them, they go in there and cut it. Sure enough, there was another, so we got 11 yesterday. Got to get the freeze dryer, guys. What do you know about freeze drying? You ever freeze dry anything? Freeze drying is the best way, the most way to make something last long term, longer than any other way to put something into long-term food storage is going to be freeze dried. And it doesn't use the heat process like canning or drying, which robs the nutrition out of your food. Did we get, I think, did we get 10 the day before? My days are kind of blending together out here. They go up and down. They seem to lay 5 or 6 and then 10, 6 or 7 or 8 and then 10, or kind of go back and forth. So, but I think I get some back-to-back days. It's the light, so they're going to start laying. Every one of them should be laying. So, egg salad sandwich. I made some hard-boiled eggs because I make them scrambled. I haven't made a quiche, like an egg. I haven't done that in a while. I think I'm going to do that when I go to the store, get some cheese, because I like to put lots of cheese in it, put vegetables and grill up onions, kind of like as a big fat omelet, basically, right? A quiche, pretty much. So, but I try to make different things, with them. So egg salad sandwiches are always good. Got to eat 5 or 6 of them a day, or I get stacked up, Scrambled. I normally do them over easy or sunny side up, but now I've been kind of doing them over medium, where they're kind of cooked and kind of, not yolky, but they're thicker. And I'm like, oh, I kind of like that. It's not runny. It doesn't run on the plate. I'm like, I don't know where I came up with that, because I never liked my eggs. I always liked them runny, even sunny side up. But I've been thinking, man, I might do birds out here for a little bit. I might do birds. And I think birds are just going to get more and more popular as the food supply gets cut back. People are going to want to have more access to poultry and protein, and eggs are a superfood. So you can create so many chickens, man. You can. You can create a grip load of chickens. So what I was thinking about doing, like anything, is getting into the high dollar market. Don't just do, straight run, just regular, the run of the mill chicken, straight run type. Do high dollar chickens. Nice. Because I think the demand for chickens is going to be higher and higher. So, and then because there's always people who are looking for variety. like a copper maran, or even some of these, I'm not even getting to some of these zombie chickens. They got chickens that are like over 1,000. I'm not talking about that high end of a chicken, but you could dabble in that market. Here's my point. I bred dogs. If you raise, a $5 to $1,000, 500 potentially to $1,000 chocolate lab or black lab or yellow lab with good genetics, maybe some champion, some red in their bloodline or whatever, when you breed them out, you get $5 to $1,000 dogs. If you breed out, champion line of, whatever, it doesn't, there's high end breeds. Okay. I don't know to go into every single, if I raise a high end breed, that's what I get to ask for. Just like it takes money to make money. I think I could come down and not undercut the market, but still make it affordable for people to get into more high end breeds, more affordable, and kind of do it because of where I'm at. Like, well, you got to come here, so I would give a reduced rate and not kill the market on high end chickens. Because if you invest, just like that seed vault over there, that seed vault says invest in a lifetime of seeds. You can take and germinate, right? Seeds, plant those, take them, bring those fruits or flowers to seed, and then seed those out. You get seed from the fruit. You get seed if you seed them out at the end of their cycle. And from one seed, you could create 1,000 seeds. So from one can of a seed vault, which is what, 1 pound of seeds, 8,000 seeds, that's enough for a whole lifetime. You don't have to buy seeds anymore. You don't. If you grew every year and you propagated, and you seeded out, and then you took back all your seeds for a non-genetically modified, open pollinated heirloom seed, it's going to provide abundance a whole lifetime. I don't know what a can of Augustin Farm, it's been 5, 6, 10 years since I bought one of those cans, one of those seed vaults, but that's kind of the same thing. Just think that poultry is pretty easy to do. I wouldn't want to overdo it, but if I could find a niche market for it, there is a good market for it right now. People are slowly starting to grow their own food. Self-reliance, self-sufficiency is not like taboo, like prepping anymore. People are like, hey man, it might make some sense to stop waiting to go to the store until ground beef is $15 a pound and not $10 a pound. $10 a pound for ground beef in America. Land of the tax cattle, huh? Some 100 cow burger, 100 different cows go in one burger. Cheaper, and just much easier. A chicken won't knock you over and kill you like a cow will. That's why I do sheep and goats and don't raise cattle. It's just too dangerous. Not that I haven't. I haven't raised, but I've had cattle on the property here before, but they know how to deal with it. But they'll kill you. They'll crush you. A chicken won't kill you. So So chickens, I'm not trying to bring the full, bird. If I could, I'd really try to sell more younger hatchlings and 2 and 3 and 4 and 6 and 8 week and 10 and 12, because they're just not available. You know what I'm saying? And so people would actually say, honey, well, let's just get it and we'll take care of it until it comes into a lane, because I'm not trying to put that much feed into them either. Not that I couldn't. So I'm thinking, if you move into a market, like I said, that's a little more high end, you're going to have people who want that type of bird because of the variety. Maybe they don't want a whole flock of them because they are expensive, but they 2 or 3 or something like that, And it doesn't take up a lot of space. And a lot of that stuff could be done inside. As a matter of fact, most hatchlings and most, brooders do need more of a stable climate. Pretty important for certain breeds too, weather or moisture, and so climate control. So, but I do think the market's going to get more and more, brothers and sisters, as we get run into these bottlenecks. People have it in the idea in their head that it's cheap to raise chickens, and it's not. I'm going to here to tell you it's not cheap to raise chickens. You're not going to pay less for eggs because you have chickens. You're going to pay more for those eggs. They're just going to be way better quality eggs that you can actually water glass. That's what I'm talking about, 91st. I'm thinking it's super compact, you know what I'm saying? And I can grow a small garden, you know what I'm saying? Right? Small garden, small keep it, do something where I can manage. It's a lot harder to manage, even sheep, little ewes are still, but, goats, fencing, knocking things over, a constant, chicks are pretty damn easy to, and they're not just totally foolproof. You don't just set it and forget it, but they don't need the maintenance. You could set something that up in a spare bedroom. So I'm thinking for now, there's 2 rooms in that house. So I was thinking of setting up that smaller room as a chicken house, a chicken brooder, and do all. Roll the dice a little bit. It takes money to make money. Getting into some of these zombie chickens, if you know what zombie chickens and some of these zombie breeds, they're really expensive. But like I said, when you raise $3,000 dogs, you sell $3,000 puppies. When you raise $200 and $300 and $500 dogs, you sell $200 and $300 puppies. So if you raise $200 and $300 or $500 chickens, which seems stupid, well, I wouldn't start there, but a niche market. I live in Christmas Valley, Silver Lake, Oregon. I don't live in Christmas Valley. Bend, Oregon, the average price in Bend, Oregon, a home is $800,000. Every third home sold for $1 million. A lot of ranches, a lot of farms, a lot of big, properties. So something you can stuff in your pocket, man. I wonder how long you'd be sitting on that type of chicken. See, for me, out where I live, because I live a considerable distance, maybe a couple hours from some of these locations that I'm telling you, people ain't want to come out here and buy $3 chickens. Not that they wouldn't, but see what I'm saying? They're gonna buy a whole flock of whatever, some straight run, whatever, non-sex, just throw them out there, just, and even the eggs, guys. People will buy these eggs. They will buy the fertilized eggs. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's the person that's going to buy, everything's so expensive. It's like Canada. So, they're going to buy that $200 to $300 chick. Some are even more than that. So, but I'm not talking about doing all that. I'd like to get into some of these like the copper marrons and some of these other, $20 and $30 and $40 chicks that grow out to be in a couple $100 sometimes birds, something like that, where they're depending on the lineage of them too, because that's real. Like I said, some people are pretty picky. They want, top quality stuff. You get what you pay for sometimes, especially when it comes to people who do livestock. They know that you don't want to cut corners with livestock for sure. Got to take care of your livestock 100%. You cut corners, it'll affect them. So I just thought for a small something that, it obviously would take time, but I don't think it's, that's what I'm talking about. Incubating the eggs. That's it. Having some obviously to breed out, but just basically only breeders. I'm not raising chickens to raise them for eggs. I'm raising them 100%. Now I would sell eggs that are not or eat them or whatever, but yeah, find out what works. Find the niche. Find out what works. Start obviously with something a little more higher end than the run of the mill. And then work your way up to some of these high end breeds and see how those go. Because you might have, because you're a niche market, people come and say, hey, yeah, I want some of those $1,200. I can't believe somebody paid that much for a chicken, but I've seen some of those. They're all black. I mean, every bit of them are black, top to bottom, beak, comb, and they're all black. I don't know what makes those chickens so expensive, but I forget there's a name of that breed too. But those chickens could be, I think, over $1,000 for a chicken. Now at full size, you're growing it out to not, a year or something like that, past pullet stage or past, but some ridiculous prices on some of those zombie breeds. They're part of this now. I think they've created some new breeds and they call them, I think they're like zombie chickens. They're certain things. They're not all of them are black, but they're a certain. The other ones that I really like, that I'm really interested into right now, is some of those chickens that are really big. They grow to be 4 feet tall if they stand up. You know what I'm saying? And they're a large breed, and they're super docile. You can keep them with other birds. They don't dominate. They don't. They're almost 4 foot tall, like a little velociraptor or something walking around in your coop. But they're really good. Actually, I've heard that when I'm out here where there's predator birds. So I live in this desert. So I think that would be another market, because of the predator birds. They really help take care of a flock. A lot of eagles and hawks are going to come down with a bird that's almost 4 feet tall. There are birds out here way bigger than that where I live. There are some huge hawks out here, but massive eagles, massive hawks, biggest birds I've ever seen right here, anywhere, ever. I've been to all 50 states, traveled outside of this country. I've never seen birds as big as they are in this valley. So they've got the smorgasbord buffet out here with the sage rats or the whistle pigs or whatever you want to call them. Prairie dogs, some people call them that, I think. Just lots of different names for those varmints, but those rabbits, mice, there's just so many varmints and different, that because of the pivots and whatnot, that they always have a good, plentiful So I've never seen birds get as big as they have in this valley. So, but those, I forget what the name of those breeds are, but they get up to like 4 feet tall, guys. The roosters do. So they're good to have in your flock. Obviously, they're going to stand up real tall, but they don't mess with the other birds. Even the roosters don't tend to dominate. They're like a big gentle giant, like a lot of breeds are. A lot of big breeds and things, and animals aren't, they're not what they're, like a big old cuddly grizzly bear. No, don't be cuddling a grizzly bear, right? So, uh, but yeah, but something out here, like Ted, in that room, use that room and start. It'd be good for the ministry too. Like I said, to generate something from that room. You know, brooders aren't cheap, but you can get, you can get invested and get some brands. You'd probably have to put, I bet you'd sock $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 out the gate into getting stock and get yourself going. But I don't think it'd take too long at selling $200 and $300 birds, maybe more, $500 bird, whatever, to start, getting investment back. And it's not like you're handling sheep and goats and stuff. Generally, you're dealing with a really small, compact, you know, animal. And I think a lot of people do have pretty good success after they do it for a little while. And just like gardening, you learn how to, you know, certain breeds, certain strains, certain things. You get better at doing certain things that you like to do. So I might flip the script in the middle of it and do a completely different breed come across or something. Um, but I think anybody could do that. So the reason why I'm throwing it out there too, guys, is I really think this is something that anybody who has a small bit of land right now, this is something that is going to, future tense, is going to be huge. It's going to be massive. People need food, man, and the food glut is over. It is a shortage coming. When they cut back the fertilizer, I don't agree with all these crap that they grow food with, but it produces the output of food. So you cut back fertilizer, it's going to just cut back the sheer numbers of what's available on the open market. So that's going to drive up cost of things, where people might even have to stop cutting out things like chicken, when people used to run to things like chicken because it was, you know, they couldn't afford beef. So they bought chicken. A lot of people skip the meat aisle now. They do. People can't afford meat now. It's getting that expensive for some people who've already been priced out of $10 a pound for ground beef. How much ground beef at $10 a pound are you eating? You know what I'm saying? So for ground beef, wow. So crazy. Let's say. So what are we pushing, around noon yet? Noon? Yep. All right, guys. I said I would probably get myself off here around noon o'clock. Uh, so um, I appreciate you guys coming in. Thanks for your support. Wanted to have a conversation here. I might come in for the end of the day after I get some work done. I'm a little bit sunburned, so I might go try to get some paint on the walls there before it gets too hot in the day here. It's not hot, just the sun. Um, and I'll come back and we'll have some more conversation about Passover and why we don't celebrate pagan holidays here at the ministry. We're told not to. You're not going to get the Father by celebrating. As a matter of fact, he doesn't want us, so we don't start being pagans and perverting all the rituals and making up our own versions. And, as a matter of fact, he doesn't want any change. He said, don't change anything. So appreciate your time, guys. But I got to get work done out at the ministry. I love chit chat with you all day. But I'll come back in. Let me throw some paint on the walls here, see what I can get done. And I will come back and we'll have some more sharing the gospel. Links are in the description. If you want to support the ministry, comments are always much appreciated. Doesn't cost you to comment, doesn't cost you to hit the thumbs up. Those things help the channel, help the algorithm. I don't care about growing the channel, but whatever. If it helps the shadow banning or whatever a little bit so we can get the eyes, we hadn't seen Lion in the Countrymen. It's awesome that we were made a mention of him and we saw him. So come in today. So like to see you guys. Check in every once in a while. So you don't have to, but I just know that you're okay. You're still out there grinding, getting her done. Stay with the ministry. This is my family, bro, sisters. I don't have blood relatives like that. They're not my family. They don't care about me. They never call me. They don't care about my son, anything in my situation. Nobody's ever come and never asked a single word about me since all this stuff has happened. Nothing. Never one phone call. So you guys are my family. You're going to be the people who I'm going to be with after I die. So my brothers and sisters in the narrow way. So thank you for allowing me to come in here and talk about this holiday. There's no excuses, guys. Let's go out there today. If you have the ability and you come across any opportunity to share that this is a pagan holiday, go tell somebody that. They don't have to like you. Remember, you're not here to be liked. If you're loved by the world, he said, to be hated by my Father. So I hope this world hates you, brothers and sisters. Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse.